everyone, welcome to the Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic podcast with us. Your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We'll watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it. And, the reminder we always give, it's not a spoiler-free podcast, so there's a chance that we could talk about some things as we cover this episode that happen in future episodes of the show. And, that's how it works. We're not spoiler-free. So I am Melissa, and I'm here with my adorable co-host, Fish.
Aw.
Fish, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's been a busy day, and this was an interesting episode. Just like everything else, I didn't remember Avery, and I don't know. From what you had said, I thought, maybe she's an EMT or something like that. It never even occurred to me that Avery would be the one who got shot. That did not occur to me.
Yeah, a character we just met is the one who takes the bullet, literally. Well, hey, what are we talking about today? I mean, we're already kind of getting into it. We're talking about season 3, episode 12, GIRLFIGHT. The original air date was April 18th, 2001. And remember, this is the last episode was in December, maybe it was December 13th or something like that. So it's been a solid several months at this point for people who are watching it real time. And this one was directed by Lawrence Trilling and written by Jennifer Levin. Some names we've heard many times all the way back from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode description here is: the collegiate drama picks up with the aftermath of the shots fired at the Christmas party by Molly's ex, James. The unfolding days and months reveal how the incident affects the friends in different ways as the survivors come to grips with their experience. Avery, Kristen Lehman, feels a bond with Ben after he helps to save her life. Fish?
I mean,
should we?
That's pretty much what happened. I mean, there's some other stuff, but I think, as these summaries go, that was a pretty good one.
That was a pretty good one. Yeah. So it feels like we have to take this one in order.
Yeah.
Because there was so much just integration between all the stories. So, what I do find interesting about this one is the commitment to documentary style much more than we've seen recently. They revived the style for this episode and used it a lot. It wasn't just there have been some times recently where we've seen this scene for a moment is done in documentary style. But this was, I don't know. I wonder how that landed for you. I think it makes sense to me when I look at it, because this really feels like a chance to get the inner thoughts of people around an incident in a way that might not have happened organically this far out. So I think this works for me as a style. I think it makes sense for this. It is a little tricky that they're using it inconsistently across episodes, but
yeah. I mean, it's not the worst thing. Like tapes to Sally.
No. For me, anyway, yeah, that's worse.
Yeah. And they had a number of, interesting things that they did with the camera in this. So I did like the documentary style here, but, I also liked how it opened with basically the Blair Witch Project, right?
It was a handheld camera.
Handheld cam. And I just wrote party chaos.
Yeah, that's exactly the first 2 words of my notes as well. Party - chaos. Handheld cam is the next part that I wrote. I think, Lawrence Trilling was the director on the episode where we saw the Molly and James trying to break up but didn't break up scene, right?
Oh.
And I was remarking, I think we were both remarking on how interesting the camera angles and the shots and just the thought of the conception of how to do that scene was. And here we are again, where this episode opened and I loved this style because the choice of the handheld and it being sort of shaky and it like trying to track characters as if, as if it were another person running through the scene, which it was. um, it felt right for a moment like this, where it matched the chaos and the energy of what that would have been.
Absolutely. So yeah, we come in and I think Sean is sort of talking first.
Well, Noel asks what happened, and then Sean and Tracy, it seems like they're coming back in.
Yeah, because they were chasing James
Mm-hmm.
and they said they lost him.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Like
You
on
were
the street,
chasing
like they
him?
went to Broadway to find the
Yeah,
guy
I
and he
was like,
left.
are you
Yeah.
kidding? Like you ran after the guy with the gun who still clearly has bullets left. And you only hit
Yeah.
2 people. So,
Well, when they close out from the last episode, we heard one shot, right? Or did we
yeah,
hear more?
weird one.
We heard one. I always thought that Elena had been grazed by the same bullet that hit Avery, but are we thinking it's
Could
two
be.
different bullets?
No, it could have just been one. I mean, my point is there are still bullets in the gun.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
chase him.
yeah.
Like,
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I think what we're seeing here is, this immediate aftermath still at the party, right after the gunshot, when pretty much the only person in the whole room who seems to have himself together is Ben.
I don't know. I thought that everyone was really calm for what had just happened.
I think sometimes calm was shock.
Could have been shock, but it certainly seemed calm. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you've got Molly just sitting there saying, it's my fault, and Felicity trying to comfort her, but also trying to find Ben. Ben is
I mean,
there.
Molly was curled up in like almost a fetal sitting position on the floor and saying, "This is my fault. This is my fault." So to me, that read only as shock, not as calm. And
Yeah.
guilt. I think that she was dealing with it by putting it on herself. I
Well,
thought
I also think
Elena was in shock as well.
yeah.
I thought
Well,
that
like
some people sort
Felicity
of,
is calm in terms of she
yeah.
gets the ambulance, and Ben is calm, and Avery seems fairly calm. And I only, I haven't like been in this situation, so I don't know how everyone would react. But I remember, um, I'm used to earthquakes because I'm from California, and they're not that big a deal. But there was an earthquake on the East Coast.
Oh,
And it was a big deal because people didn't know about it. And I just remember this guy getting up, screaming earthquake, and like beelining, like running out the door and then down like 9 flights of stairs. And people followed him. Like, of course, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to like wait and make sure there's no aftershocks and stuff like that. But like literally, people's reactions were scream and run.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm like, you guys seem fairly calm. It seemed like, especially Ben and Felicity.
Mm-hmm. So it seemed like, Felicity seemed like she was doing the things that you'd want her to be doing. She did seem like her voice was a little rattled and she was probably breathing a little heavy for the situation. So I can't imagine her vitals were stable, but she was doing the things you want her to do. And that was important for us as the viewer because really the camera's tracking her as she encounters all the different people at this party. Like we get the Noel, Sean, Tracy conversation, but then it's through Felicity that we're seeing Molly. It's through Felicity that we see Elena, who we see that she's bleeding from her arm. It doesn't look like it's uncontrollable. She's standing, but she looks shocked. And then Felicity goes from there to seeing Ben sit like kneeling on the floor next to Avery, who's lying down and her stomach was shot. I think it was her stomach that was shot.
Yeah, looked like it.
And then Felicity's able to have that conversation with Ben, and he's saying, "Call you, get help," and she calls the ambulance. So we're really kind of the handheld camera is sort of tracking where Felicity is moving, which gives us a window into everybody
Yeah.
along the way.
And it's one of those things where, when you do disaster training, or I think even maybe CPR training and things like that, they always say, don't say something like call the ambulance or like get help. You're supposed to make sure the person's looking you right in the eye and say call 911, because a lot of people's minds just go blank. And so when he said call the ambulance, like, and then she goes over and calls an ambulance, I don't know, it just struck me as like they were very
together.
In control. Yeah, they were very together given the situation, which I don't think is wrong. I just think it's notable.
Yeah. So Ben, I think at the point when we get to Ben, we stay with Ben for a bit here. We're going to keep coming back to these two, this Ben and Avery pairing, because Ben is trying to keep Avery calm, who, she looks a bit in shock as well here. They're sort of compressing the wound, and he's, advising her to stay calm and to keep breathing, and he's not leaving her side. He's really trying to be a consistent presence for her to keep her regulated.
Yeah. And I mean, when the EMTs come in and he gets into the ambulance with her, you can just see this kind of look on Felicity's face. I mean, I don't know, it's almost maybe a little surprised. I don't know. It was a weird look.
Can you do that if you're not a family member?
I think if you're holding the wound, you can.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he was holding the wound at that point, but like when he got in, but then he was like by her side. So I don't know. I think
I needed to fact check that for myself, because for some reason in my head, I thought you had to be like immediate family. And so that disrupted my view a little bit.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes people break the rules.
Yeah.
But, he's like holding her hand, he's keeping her calm. And I also think there's something to that. And so if they see medical value in it, it's probably a judgment call on the EMT's side. And he seemed to think, I mean, from their interaction, the EMT seemed to think that Ben was helping. He was like, keep talking to her, like keep her in conversation.
And I would say it seemed like he was, like I also would have the same assessment. Ben had some really solid composure, whether or not he had all the skill set he needed. I think that his composure was the really valuable asset in that moment. And it didn't seem like he was doing a lot of wrong stuff. So I think, it was good for her that he was at that party.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know how this turns out, but it kind of made me think like maybe Ben will end up being the doctor. Because, he's gotten involved in this now. And he had good like bedside manner and everything. So
I love that you go there in your brain. This incident has a really deep impact on Ben. And I think in this episode, they're certainly painting a picture of Avery as being a disruptor in a sort of Greg-esque way, but she's more sinister perhaps about it, or like entitled about it, than maybe Greg ever was. But I think they're putting her in there as a similar to Greg force of like, this is a wedge between Felicity and Ben. But the thing is, it isn't exactly Avery that's the disruptor for Ben. It's this incident.
Yeah.
Like this changed his life.
And I think I loved the way that they shot the ambulance scene. Like that.
Let's talk about that.
The makeup, like Avery, so she flatlines and they have to put the paddles to her. And they put this shot just on her face. and her makeup and her eyes are open. Like
Mhm.
everything about this series of shots where they're shocking her. I mean, even as a viewer, I
Mhm.
felt that.
Before they cut to like that zoomed in version of her face while they were using the defibrillator, her face was already blue when we first see her in the
Mm,
ambulance. Like, so the makeup must have been really working on her,
yeah.
because they probably did these scenes a bunch of times. So they must have had to like track these scenes based on like how blue Avery was, because there was a real progression that we saw,
Hmm.
and it was upsetting, like to get
Yeah.
that first shot in the ambulance and you see Ben still being pretty calm
Hmm.
and Avery does not look okay.
No,
You're like,
he
this is
absolutely
taking a
does not.
turn for the worse, like the really worst.
Yeah.
she's in bad shape.
Yeah. And at one point, Ben is just, looking at the EMT and saying, like, her hand is getting cold.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sweet talking to her.
he's not panicking about it.
It's just reporting the facts.
Yeah, he's like, this has happened, and he seems a little concerned. He's like, is there something else I should be doing?
Mm-hmm.
But
And I
he
like
is
this little
talking.
conversation that they had that felt so real to me, where the guy's like, no, she's looking pretty good, just trying to, I guess, keep
Mhm.
spirits up in the ambulance. And Ben's like, hear that, Avery? They say you're looking good. And Avery is like, I just bought this dress.
Yeah.
And Ben's like, it's a nice dress. And I'm like, I feel like that is exactly the conversation you'd be having. She
It's
just
like
got shot
whatever's
through the
on your
dress she
mind.
just
Yeah.
bought.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I had a friend, a teammate in club gymnastics when I was younger, who broke her arm and she was wearing a long sleeve leotard at practice and they had to cut off her sleeve
Mm-mm.
to fix her, to
Mhm.
like address the clear, obviously broken arm. And man, the thing she was thinking about was having to cut the sleeve off that leotard. It was like, and she wasn't a fashion person. It was just like that was so it was so jarring to her,
Mhm.
because she couldn't focus on the thing that was actually jarring.
Mhm.
And this felt exactly the same. It felt so real.
Yeah.
But
And I felt the same way when Ben was like, so I'm gonna go to Florida, I'm gonna get a tan. What are you planning on? Like, you just
hmm,
pull out whatever is the first thing in your mind that is, you know, that has nothing to do with what's currently going on.
yeah. I just found, I'm just pulling up all the gymnastic stories now. I was looking through some old stuff recently, and I found a note from a friend from college gymnastics who had, it was like maybe one of the scarier injuries I had ever seen, just in terms of the wow, what that could have been. She had torn her Achilles on the takeoff of a really hard tumbling pass. And thank
Oof.
God the coach was there, because she would have had a much worse injury of landing on her neck when she
Mhm.
lost momentum. And the coach just like grabbed her in the air and flipped her to get to a safe landing position, but she had still torn her Achilles. And it was like the middle of a nor'easter, or about to be. And we, the coaches were like, we can't have everybody going to the hospital. We can't have that. And so they were like, one of you can come. So I got in the car with her and I stayed with her. And so I just found a note from her from, I don't know, like senior year or something, when she was just like reflecting on our journey together. She's like, thanks for talking about Christmas with me in the car on the ride over to the hospital. It's like, we talked about Christmas. Wow.
Just trying to get their mind off it. Yep.
I can totally imagine like all the questions that I would have been asking her about Christmas. But
Hmm.
yeah, this is the stuff you do. It's like, must distract, person in pain,
Yes.
probably dying. Like,
Yes.
what do I talk about? And then later on,
Hmm.
whatever happens to them happens. And you're like, we had a conversation about turtles.
Hmm. Yeah.
You're like, that was the last thing that I said to them. It was about turtles or Christmas or getting a tan in Florida.
Yeah. And
It's
that makes
just
you a good person to have been
um
dealing with that.
I like your take on that. Way to go, Cynic.
Yeah.
Um,
You're welcome.
way to be an optimist. I love it. But yeah, the shots of this again, I mean, Lawrence Trilling. I'm really excited to see future episodes that he directed now that I am so aware of some of the great stuff that he's done with these camera shots before. I think I'll be more and more clued into it. But yeah, having that real, like, increasing zoom in onto Avery's face, as you know that they're using the defibrillator on her and her whole body is getting shocked, but you're staring into her practically dead eyes. Probably in this moment, they're supposed to be dead eyes.
Hmm.
She's blue.
Hmm.
It's just, and
It was
they hold
impressive.
it kind of long.
Yeah. They go through two shocks with her eyes open. I was like, how did you do that?
Mm-hmm. It made me wonder if they just like had an Avery doll or something,
No,
like
she looked real.
she
I don't
looks
know
so
if
real.
maybe somebody like put eye drops in or something like that.
That was a long time to
It's
not
a
blink,
really long time not to blink.
especially when you're supposed to be pretending to be shocked. And she was like
Yeah.
arching her whole back and somehow
Yeah.
still looked dead.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Maybe they put some sort of like, I don't know, like Botox or like something to paralyze her face, or like maybe there was tape holding her eyes. I feel like they must have done something because that seemed like her. That did not look like a
Yeah,
doll.
yeah. I'll tell you,
So,
folks.
look,
Lawrence
I
Trilling
mean, yeah,
nailed it
great
again.
shots, but also, regardless of anything that I'm going to say about the character, heads
Hmm.
up, I'm going to say stuff about the character.
Hmm.
Um, the actress is great.
Yeah, she's great. And I will say, like, I don't know what you're about to say about Avery, the character. I imagine there's much hatred for her in the Felicity community for all the reasons you're already seeing in this episode. But the thing
Yeah.
is, I think she's really important. But more important than her is this thing that just happened with her and Ben.
Hmm.
And I've sort of joked in the past about how we get to Old Man Ben by season 4.
Hmm.
And I think there are, a few like things that get him there, but him experiencing this trauma is one. And
Interesting.
I think that, it will go on a little bit of a journey in the next however many like immediate episodes about him figuring out what this was. I don't think he knows right now. And I think that Avery is this really forceful, sort of force of nature, I get what I want kind of person. And I think initially that could like wash over him and
Hmm.
everybody, it seems. But Avery is not a forever character on this show. So like we're the impact of this will last forever for Ben. And in a way. And I think in this moment, the question is, what does this mean to everybody?
Yeah. And
And
I
I
think
don't
the
know if their
moment
answer today
itself,
is the same as it will be, you know?
yeah. I mean, that'll be interesting to see. Because I mean, it did just happen as we're talking about, but then they give it, 3 months later, right? So they've had some time to reflect on it, and then I guess we'll continue to see their thoughts and their journey after that. I mean, what I found interesting as I was watching it, because I was really sensitive to the Avery character because I'd heard so much about her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I'd also heard so much about Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't mind Greg. Like I have, if anything, I have pity for Greg,
Yeah.
right? I think he was actually a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into this thinking, all right, like that's the way I'm going to look at Avery. And like where I started with her and how I felt about her changed throughout the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can bottom line it for you now so we can think about it from the perspective of what I thought by the end, which will be
Mm-hmm.
relevant. Or we could just go through it and I could talk about like how my thoughts changed.
Let's do that.
Okay.
The second one. I think that's interesting because it's the journey. It's the journey you went on. It's the journey the viewer goes on, and it's the journey Felicity goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think she's the most in tune with what
Mm-hmm.
Avery's up to. Um. So okay. So we move from the day of to we're now going to get a documentary style interview, except it's kind of upgraded. We've got more of a formal
Yes.
backdrop.
I thought that too. I mean, I liked the gray background, the sort of curtain look. It was definitely a more professional look.
Yeah. And my sense is that this is after the incident, but not long after the incident, because we haven't gotten the 3 months later card yet. So
Yeah.
this is maybe, I don't know, I couldn't really tell how long after. It seemed like the characters were able to process things a little bit more. So it didn't feel like the next day.
Well, so if we think about it, when did Tracy say he was leaving for Africa?
Wasn't it like 3 days?
Yeah, and so
So it
he
must
said like
be.
I'm leaving on like Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's got to be within a 3-day period.
Okay, so there you have it. So we're getting this more formally set up interview of everybody, and we're just getting sort of the quick hits of what everybody's thinking. So first, Ben opens with Avery died.
Yeah, he's really focused on that.
Yeah, and it's a misdirect that won't last for very long, but uh, in his experience, she died in the ambulance for a
Yep.
moment.
Hmm.
Then Felicity is going to jump in and say, it's like a bad dream. Like this doesn't happen to people you know, people that you care about. I thought that was
Hmm.
interesting that she said care about. I was wondering who
Elena
she
got
was.
shot. Everyone got traumatized. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a party in their apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So she, in your mind, she was talking about sort of everybody but Avery.
I mean, I think she wasn't necessarily leaving her out on purpose. She was just
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the people she knew.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we're going to see how Noel's
Yeah.
handling this, which is, I think, a delight of this episode, really. I just love almost all the dialogue they gave him in this episode. He you can see right away where he is. Like, he's a master of the news story metaphor where he's like,
Mm,
you ever see those stories about people who, they were supposed to catch a plane, but then they were just running, they got in a traffic jam, ran 5 minutes late, and then the plane crashed and they weren't on it. He just like the randomness of it all is, I think, the thing he's trying to get to. And he says that's me. I was tying my shoelace at the party. James shoots
mhm.
the gun. Bullet whizzes over my head. Like,
Yep.
wow.
I mean, he's right. I mean, that kind of is the situation. That's what happened.
I have to
So,
think that James wasn't really aiming. He was just going to shoot anybody because why Noel, and why Elena and why Avery, so um
uh, slash, he was high and didn't have good aim.
yeah, either one, right? It doesn't seem to me that the intention was to hit any of those people.
Yeah. Or people, he walked in with a gun and someone tried to rush him and he just
Yeah,
shot and then ran.
yeah, yeah. And it was sort of like as his arm was moving,
Yeah.
this is who happened to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because in your initially when you were saying that you were worried, some episodes ago when you were saying you were worried it was Ben that was going to get hit, I was like, well, that would make sense if James were
Yeah.
aiming.
I
That would
was
be the
thinking Ben
person
or Molly.
yeah, absolutely. Those are the two people he'd be most likely to hit.
Yeah.
Um, but then we're going to cut back to Ben, and he's going to say, but the shot worked, and Avery's alive, and they brought her back.
Yeah, I thought this was really interesting because I think Sean says something at this point like, "That's amazing." And Ben looks into the camera and says, "It was more than amazing." And I was
Yeah.
like,
In a
he's
whispery,
putting,
very intense voice.
yeah. I was like, he's really going to be affected by that if that's what he thinks.
Yes, you've highlighted exactly the right thing in your brain. But
And
he doesn't
then,
know yet I think Avery is a real confusing factor. But I
yeah,
think the fact that you clocked him looking dead into the camera with intense focus and a whispery voice and saying it was more than amazing, hold that in your heart. Because like Avery makes things weird, but at the end of the day, it was the saving of Avery that I think he's going to get to as like the real impact for him.
yeah,
Um,
like just life, a life.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That even in this moment, you can see that that's important to him. And I think he needs to figure out what that means to him.
I mean, it means
But
many years later he's going to become a doctor on Grey's Anatomy. That's what it means.
that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Finally realizes the dream. Um,
It's always nice to see. Okay. So if I'm being really honest with you, I did just finish watching Under the Dome. I thought I'm going to skip over the
uh,
first several episodes. I'm going to pick up where I think I left off. I'm not going to try to do it again. And I'll be honest with you guys, the people that I didn't think were great actors at the start, they were still not great actors by the end, but I plowed through because I wanted to see Eddie Cahill.
hmm
And I will just say that in that show, eventually, minor spoiler, Eddie Cahill's character goes to maybe AA or like is part of a similar type of group. And I was like, this feels complete. It just
Isn't
took
it
him.
nice? Sometimes you get typecast. It's like
Yeah.
he can only be hired from now on as an assistant, an addict, or a hockey player.
Yeah.
That's
And I
it.
will be very clear with you all. I'm not recommending that show. I'm just saying if you feel like you need to close the loop
You can also
on
watch Friends.
James, yeah, okay, that might be your better option. I don't know. Um,
Or
Eddie
Miracle.
Eddie Cahill is fine in that show. I'm just saying the show itself is horrific. It's
It's
okay.
not good.
Yeah, it was
But
so ridiculous.
I do love the the end of James, right? The fact that Molly tells us and they're like, and she says, "Well, James is in jail now. They found him in a dumpster."
Hiding
And
behind the
for
dumpster.
oh, I thought he was in the dumpster. And I
No,
was
but
like, for all
still,
the times I said it was a dumpster fire of a show, I was like, this is perfect.
yeah, no, it
Well, you
was
know
a
what? In
behind the
my
dumpster
mind,
fire of a show.
he's in the dumpster.
Okay, I'm not gonna ruin this for you. All right, that's canon now.
Yeah.
Um,
There was lettuce on his head and, you know, just pulled out of the dumpster.
he's a mess, that James.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna get Tracy, who again, at this point, it's a day or two or three, probably a day or two, maybe
hmm
one, that he's supposed to be leaving for this Crossroads Africa experience program. And Elena just got shot. So
Right.
Tracy is saying, look, I didn't really want to go to Africa anymore. And then Elena told me I should.
I didn't think he was going to go. Like, if Elena got shot, I thought Tracy would stay.
Yeah.
And I did think it was a potential that Elena got shot so that Tracy would stay as like part of the plot.
Yeah. But Tracy goes
Um,
anyway.
yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm glad he does because Elena getting shot doesn't change the core fundamental problems of their relationship. And this is, I'm glad that Elena told him to go.
Yeah. I
She
mean,
has a support system. I mean, yeah, she probably needed Tracy, and we see she goes a little off the rails without him. But I think at least, well, this isn't the worst coping mechanism kind of way. um, but yeah, I guess I'm glad for Tracy that he left.
I mean, I guess in an ideal world for me, Tracy says, I don't want to go to Africa. Elena said, is very supportive and says you should still go. And he says no.
Mhm.
And it like changes the dynamic and makes their relationship a lot more solid. And they now have this experience. I would have liked to have seen that, especially given how it turns out when he gets back. But he could have gone later and had the experience. So I was a little disappointed that he went.
Mhm.
I was.
Okay. That's fair. Well, we do get the confirmation that Elena had, so it was her shoulder that was hit, but I guess she's feeling like she's lucky that it
Yeah.
wasn't worse. I guess that's the takeaway from her.
Probably because she says, I'm lucky.
Yeah, it's interesting that I read through those subtle cues. I
Yeah.
picked up on that.
Good
Not
job.
everybody would, but
Oh.
I'm whip smart, okay? So then Tracy confirms he's leaving Friday. Who knows how many days that is away? Could be one, could be two, could be today. Maybe today is Friday, and he just doesn't have his wits about him. Molly is saying she's going back to England.
So do we just never see Molly again?
No, we do continue to see Molly again. I am
Really?
sorry, Fish. Does she have any meaningful story? Not that I remember, but we will see her again.
Gosh, I assumed they were getting rid of James. They just getting rid of Molly and just dump her.
Yeah, my condolences to you. I know that's not what you want to hear.
No.
And honestly, like, she kind of, from what I remember, is just sort of like the friend still. When she comes back, there isn't.
Look, now, when they actually gave her something to do, I was happy for her to be in the show. It was the whole month where they gave her nothing to do. And then apparently if they're going to bring her back and give her nothing to do, I again am going to be upset.
Well, then prepare to be upset is what I'm saying to you. There's a bit more of that coming in your future. So we're going to skip to 3 months later. We are going to get our official 3 months later card. Time has elapsed. And we are going to get really... So we're going to get thoughts about gun control as portrayed by the show through Javier in the weirdest, most comical ways you can manage to talk about that.
It's brilliant. I love it. I love it.
I think that regardless of where you stand on it, the show is giving you the show's thoughts. But because it's coming through Javier's words, it's just so weird.
But it's also hilarious. It was so funny. Every line he had was so funny to me.
It's kind of brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's like his musings out loud. And you're just, he's saying, they say that guns don't kill people, that people kill people. That's like saying butter knives don't spread butter. People spread butter. But it's still not a smart thing to say.
It's so like, it's just, I think regardless of where you stand on this issue, it's still just like Javier being Javier. Yeah. And it's I thought actually a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I noticed about it first is that the thing they have Javier doing while he's saying all these things is he's arranging a giant vase of flowers, which I couldn't for the life of me think that I had ever seen flowers of like a vase of flowers that size in Dean and I don't know if I've ever seen flowers in that place ever. Where does this vase go? Have I been missing it?
It was a huge vase. However, I don't know how you would make a small arrangement of Bird of Paradise.
Yeah.
Like they are large centerpiece flowers.
I guess I think that there isn't probably usually flowers in Dean and DeLuca because I don't know where you put them. But his task today is he's
Yeah.
arranging the flowers
Yes.
that go somewhere in Dean and DeLuca. And so, but it's
While
all in
talking about
service of a
guns.
joke.
Yeah.
Because at the end, well, first
Well,
of
wait.
all,
So there's this one line that I just loved. He looks at the camera and just in his very Javier fashion says, "I have 0 guns."
yes, 0.
It's like,
And
you're
then we get to
amazing.
the joke that explains this
The
activity you've
flowers.
been doing. He's like, the only thing that should have pistols is flowers. And you're like, yes, that explains why you're
Which
doing
word
this.
did he mess up this time? Pistol. Okay, got it. It's a Javierism.
Yeah. So there's that. So that is the show putting their official stance on this issue in the weirdest possible way. That was most delightful and gave us weird quotable things.
Yeah.
Butter knives don't spread butter. People spread butter. It was
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So now we're going to get to, and by the way, we're still documentary style for the Javier stuff, and we're going to stay that way when we go to Elena. Elena has found a coping mechanism.
Yes, she has. It's like Assassins, but more deadly.
You're right. That I think that really actually does line up really well with what we've seen about her. So she's healed now, but she didn't feel safe. So she wanted to feel safe. And she's going to take a university sponsored self-defense class. And that is...
She would like Felicity to come with her. And the way that she is going to try to convince Felicity is to pop out of random places and attack her and say, you would have died if I had been a real attacker.
Yeah, so we go non-documentary now, and we're going to see Elena do a takedown of Felicity, just coming home in the apartment, and just Elena comes out of the woodworks and takes her down.
Just attacks her.
Yeah, and you get the sense that this has been happening a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, I can't remember what show it was, whether it was Pink Panther with Peter Sellers or something, but this is a thing where like the rich guy has hired someone to like constantly attack him to like keep his skills up. And so I just thought it was a nice little sort of throwback to that. Yeah. All right, now I'm going to say a sentence that I never thought I would say.
Okay.
I love Felicity's sweater.
What?
This is an amazing sweater. It only took 3 seasons and a gunshot, but finally she has an absolutely beautiful purple, amazing sweater on.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mark the date and time. Never thought I'd say that.
Well, here you have it, folks. Broken clocks are still right twice a day. Anyway, God bless her. Carrie Russell is given a whole bunch of exposition here to deliver.
While she's on the ground.
Yeah.
It's holding her down.
The thing is, what you get a sense of from this moment is that, and from the things that they have her say, is that a whole bunch of Felicity's friends have gone a little extreme in the way they're coping. And Felicity's the grounded one who seems to just try to normalize everything.
See, this is not what I took away from this. I felt that everyone was dealing with it in their own way. And the way that Felicity was dealing with it is by continually having something to do, pushing stuff forward. And that is, a way to deal. It's a certain reaction type. And so I saw that as like, that's her reaction. Ben's got this reaction. Noel's got the, everyone has their own reaction. And Felicity's may like, quote, seem the most normal from before the shooting. But honestly, after the shooting, all of these reactions are normal. I mean, they just had somebody come in and and kill someone. I mean, it was just for a minute, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a big deal. I
Yeah.
mean, the first time you see this is a really life-changing moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, people deal differently. They just
It's
do.
true. Well, so Felicity's on the floor telling Elena, like, Elena, again with this. She's like, look, I would love to take the class, but I have so much going on. I've got work, I've got classes, and I'm dealing with Noel's existential crisis. And, it's, she's rattling off the list of everything you're going to see her have to do
Yep.
for the rest of the episode. So Elena, lets her up, and then Elena's going to leave. She's like, lock the door.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
There is some evidence in this episode that they start locking their door.
Yes. I've been waiting for this.
It's the moment it's happened. And so Felicity is going to call Noel because they've got to get Loser Pet Store done. They've got an assignment with a deadline. Noel's not really into it.
He's having an existential crisis.
He sure is.
Nothing matters. The world is just random. Like, what is life? What is meaning? Why bother?
Yeah. I just love so many of the things that they give Noel to say in this episode, all in that vein. So he wants to end this conversation because there's a knock on the door. So he's like, fine. And he agrees to work on Loser Pet Store, mostly just to get out of the conversation. And then he goes to the door, and Avery's there, standing on her own 2 feet, looking not blue.
Yeah, I mean, she's gorgeous. She is absolutely gorgeous, and she is dressed impeccably. And from the second you see her, or at least from the second I saw her, I was like, she has money, she has style, she has taste, she's put together, she's gorgeous, she's a threat.
And another thing that you might be thinking is, I mean, she looks so much like Ruby. I mean, it's not so much that
I did think, I mean, the whole blonde thing, but she is, I mean, I apologize to the actresses here. I'm sorry. She is considerably more beautiful than Ruby. And if I really were to compare her to anyone, it would be more Maggie, especially even in the style department and like the way she's put together. But even there, she trumps Maggie. I mean, her stuff is just expensive. I mean, it's quality.
Yeah, she comes from money for sure. Maggie worked to make the money that she Maggie has stability. She works nice for herself.
Style.
She's got culture. She
money.
Lived in Japan. Like, there's that, but you can see that Avery comes from money. But I would say, like, facial construction wise, I don't really see that much of a resemblance other than the hair between Maggie and Avery, but I do between Avery and Ruby. I don't know, just an observation. Maybe that's like they should have given one of them a wave in their hair or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say they both had straight hair, so that could have been part of it. And Maggie had like wavy hair.
Yeah.
But she's a lot taller, I think, and she's, the word I would use for her is statuesque.
Oh.
Like she's got this. She's got relatively like broad shoulders, and she's tall, and she just has this presence.
Yeah. So Avery is looking for Ben. Noel doesn't immediately clock who she is. So at this moment, when they're having a conversation, he doesn't recognize her yet. And she's looking for Ben. She's like, does he live here? Noel's like, depends how you define live.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
Is the address where he gets his mail?
So she's holding a gift for Ben. And she comes in. She's going to leave a message. And then while she's writing, she's telling Noel the message. So I don't know, shows what you got to do for writing.
2 forms, she's just making sure that he gets the message somehow.
Because frankly, does Noel look like a guy who's going to remember this message right now? Not really.
No.
So Noel is suddenly realizing who this is because she said, first of all, I love that they, like, almost every character at some point says her full name. This is Avery Swanson, guys. All right.
Yes. Her
Avery
name
Swanson.
is said so many times in this episode. She shows up so many times that they're clearly trying to annoy us as the audience. And like it wasn't working. And honestly, I don't think just saying her name and having her show up would have worked for me. Like I still think I could have liked her. So at this point, I'm like, all right, like she could be trouble, but like maybe it's gonna be for Noel, or like, maybe she's just like a stumbling block or whatever. But I don't think anything bad about her. I'm like, she showed up, she looks great, she's gorgeous, she brought a gift.
Yeah.
Like, seems nice.
Absolutely. Well, Noel now knows who this is. He is awestruck. He's like, Avery is the hero he didn't know he needed, but now he has her. And he sees her standing on her own 2 feet, stable. And he has questions. It's like, okay, you would get this. Doesn't it all seem pointless? Doesn't life feel like some sort of stupid cosmic whim? Because this is how he's processed this event. And she says, well, actually, I had the exact opposite reaction to this. For me, this gave me purpose, a new purpose. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did not read an uh-oh into that.
Yeah.
I mean, she says...
On the face of it, it sounds good.
Yeah, she was like, it helped me reprioritize and gave me a new purpose. And I was like, all good.
Yeah.
It's actually something good to say to Noel since, again, crisis.
Yeah. So we're going to switch over from them to a Sean and Megan scene.
I love this plot for Megan.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
So Megan was assigned a work study position. She's supposed to be a TA for the university elementary school. I didn't know that was a thing, but maybe.
Yes, it was. I thought it was, I mean, she did say it was work study. And for some reason, I wrote down work study and then just thought, oh, it's actually part of a class. But no, it's work study. So, yeah, I mean, I can understand if it was daycare or something like that. Having an elementary school associated with the university does seem weird.
Yeah. I can understand having like programmatic relationships between a freestanding school and your elementary school and your university school. I just don't know that I buy the university sponsoring an entire elementary school.
Yeah.
But
But anyway, this is what we were given.
Yeah, so. This is what we were given. And I'm guessing that Megan's a psych major here, so this is a relevant work study program. They've assigned her to work with kids though, and she's not into it.
Yeah, she doesn't like kids. They smell. Yeah. I also would like to add they're sticky. Children are sticky.
Okay, well there you have it. She uses a term here that you would not be able to use today, I don't think, but one that was used a fair amount around that time, I would say.
Yes. She uses the derogatory for little people, and then proceeds to say, actually, they're children.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that feels really weird to hear now.
Yeah,
but you just don't hear it in shows anymore. And I'm not even sure how well publicized it is that it's a derogatory term, but you don't hear shows use it anymore.
Yeah. And all right, see, now I have to tell stories too. Whenever I hear anything about little people, it just takes me back to the weirdest story that my mom ever told. She was like on vacation and she went to sleep. She like fell asleep beside a pool, like in one of those pool deck chairs. And when she woke up, it was all little people.
Huh.
in the pool, on the deck chairs, and her. And that was it.
What a was it Gulliver's Travels that I'm thinking of? That was
Yeah,
like
there
the
are both
Lilliputians.
giants and like really, really tiny people in
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But yeah, she was like, this seemed like a dream. But
Hmm.
no, this it just happened to her.
Well, and she's feeling like she can't go back to the playground. She's getting a mild panic attack, you can see here, maybe, or she's just feeling anxiety and she can't go back to the playground. I mean, remember, the playground is where she was betrothed to Greg some years back.
Anxiety.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is bringing up some harsh memories for her.
it
But
is.
Sean is not getting it. He's like, "No, you'll have fun. It's fine. It's fine."
Well, I mean, eventually he does calm her down. He rubs her shoulders. He is comforting her.
Okay.
And then when she calms down, he's like, get over
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I have to say, I just have to point out that she has a choker on with this spider pendant, this like silver spider pendant that I adore.
Okay.
I would like to have it.
Nice. All right, so we're gonna go to the loft. Felicity arrives to find Noel eating ding dongs.
And watching TV. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's very clear that he doesn't care about anything
yeah,
right now.
yeah. And Felicity is going to get down to business. She wants to shake Noel out of this. She wants to get some work done. So she's going to just dive into a new loser pet store idea about a couple cats,
Hmm.
George and Georgia. And then one of them gets picked to have an owner, and then they're going to be separated. Noel is like, but then he realizes he has like 80 brothers and sisters and it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. Also, what cat gives birth to 80
Probably none.
kittens? Yeah.
That would be a lot.
Hmm.
That feels unlikely.
Yeah.
But
But
Felicity is about done with him feeling sorry for himself. And she, in a coded but not so coded way, tells him that.
you mean by saying stop feeling sorry for yourself?
Well, she first equates it back to the George and George. She's like, because he's like, oh, because he has so many brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter. She's like, or maybe we should do a comic about
Yeah.
about like a cat who doesn't care about anything. She's just, I don't know. She's tired of it. I think
She's
she's
tired of it, but I don't think she's walk out the door tired of it.
yeah, she's still, can I shake him out of this, tired of it. Like
Yeah.
there's maybe still something to I guess she has hope somewhere in here. Um
Well, I say that because when Noel then says, I thought at least Avery would understand. And Felicity's like, what? Avery? Huh? What?
mm,
And Noel's like, yeah, she stopped by. She wanted Ben. Felicity is up. She is off that sofa and she is out that door. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she, like, was having a hard time with Noel. That was 100%
yeah.
activated by Avery. So I don't
Yeah,
know
but
what
this moment,
happened.
at this moment, my interpretation of that, because I don't think she has a reason to be suspicious of Avery at this moment. I think that she's like, that is the girl who was shot in my apartment, who almost died, who's been like probably on Ben's mind, has been on all of our minds quite a lot. So I think hearing that Avery was okay and at a location she could go to, I think she went to see Avery. But I do
Okay.
think that the moment she sees her and sees the vibe, I think I started to see suspicion from her in the very first meeting with Avery, but
Yeah.
definitely soon after she
Yeah.
starts to be suspicious. But I don't think she's suspicious in this moment. I think this is like a, oh my God, I have to she was shot. Like she's okay. I have to go see her. I think it's after that
I
that
mean,
all
I
this other
almost
stuff gets
feel
layered in.
like Felicity knew where this was going. Not Felicity. Carrie Russell like knew where this was going. And I almost feel like from the second Ben got in the ambulance, I started seeing her give these not quite suspicious, but like kind of wary. I mean, it wasn't even like just worried about Avery. They were these wary looks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think maybe, and I could be wrong, but like maybe Carrie Russell jumped the gun on the like wary Avery looks.
Could
And
be.
started them a little too soon.
Because I think from what they gave us in the interview we saw with Ben, where he says like it was more than amazing with what the EMTs did, I I didn't read we haven't seen how Ben was coping with things except for that interview. So we've
Right.
had this moment in 3 months later with everybody else where we see how they are, but we didn't get to see that with Ben without Avery there. So
Right.
like my guess is that Ben has been thinking and talking about this incident a lot, but not from a standpoint of like that Avery is amazing. Like I feel so connected to Avery. I feel like he's been talking about it the way we saw him talking about it. Where he's just like, what a moment that was.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine that he would have been giving Felicity anything to feel jealous about from a relationship standpoint
Mm-hmm.
in the 3 months.
Yeah.
Um,
It could be. I mean, I have to admit, this next scene was very weird for me. And maybe it was the music. I don't know what kind of music you had going on, but the
sort of a
scene,
nondescript, sort of like there wasn't really, it was just instrumental.
yeah, I had harp music. It was like clearly a harp.
Okay.
Um, and it was just weird. It felt like ethereal and
Yeah, I don't know if
yeah.
it was a heart for me, but it did have that quality to it.
Yeah. And so we see, Avery walk up and look in the window and
At
like
Dean and DeLuca.
at Dean and DeLuca and make eye contact with Ben. And there's this like feeling. And I just wrote down the word connection.
Mm.
I mean, at this point, and then, Ben starts smiling, and it just felt like right there. I don't know if it was the music, if it was the shot, if it was the eye contact, but it felt like they did share some sort of connection.
And they also hold that shot a bit longer.
Yeah.
There is a, they took extra beats to go back and forth so that you can see the expression on both of their faces. You see the smile, you see the smile, you see the wave, you see the wave. We keep going back and forth for something that could have been communicated very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They drew it out. And I think that probably is part of why you felt that connection. And I think it's important they probably put it there. Is the connection coming for the same reasons for both of them? I don't know.
I don't know, but I definitely felt it on both sides.
Yeah,
And I didn't
they shared
feel,
something, right? This
yeah,
is something that only the two of them will experience, and I don't know if it meant the same thing to both of them. And I actually don't know if Ben knows what it means to him yet, but I am pretty sure I know that Avery knows
yeah,
what it means to her.
yeah,
And I think the question mark for me is on Ben, but I think Avery's purpose that she said she had when she was talking to Noel, I think they had to do with Ben.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
but I don't know if I would say the same thing about Ben to Avery at this moment. Like, I don't know if he has, again, I think the moment rattled him or shook him or got his attention. And what about it will resonate for him? I think that'll sort of breathe and evolve.
Yeah, I mean, they shared a trauma. There
Mm-hmm.
is a connection, but I don't necessarily think that it, came from a romantic place, like just based on this scene,
Mm-hmm.
where they like see each other and they smile. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can just have a connection based on the fact that you've been through something together.
And for
It
Avery,
doesn't have to be more than that.
yeah, and I think like when not to skip ahead entirely, but like at the end of the episode where she's saying, like, I heard the things you were saying to me in like in your mind when we were in the ambulance. And the way I think about this is Avery then had surgeries or rehab and was in a hospital for a long time recovering. And that image and his words were probably burned in her brain, fueling her recovery. It was probably what she had on her mind when she was doing physical therapy. And you know, like she probably didn't have a whole lot of other stimulus around her. Ben had the rest of his life. You know, like his whole world still operated. Yeah, people were shaken and moving in different directions, but he still had his job at Dean and DeLuca, and Felicity was still there. And so um, I think that Avery prioritized him in a way that you would do when everything else is taken away. And you've just had like this really traumatic, formative moment. What else do you have to think about? So I think she's locked in on him, but he's got a lot of other stuff going on, a lot of distractions, maybe a lot of noise to occupy him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long she was in the hospital and doing physical therapy, but I spent a good 3 weeks in the hospital doing physical therapy. And I can tell you from experience, there's a lot of chaos that goes on. Like you go from like appointment to appointment to appointment. I had chair yoga, and then I had strength training, I had occupational therapy, and then I had this other type of thing. You just go from like thing to thing to thing, and then they keep waking you up in the middle of the night to like check on you and check your vitals like every 4 hours, and so you like never get any sleep, and it is not at all a like relaxing time where your mind can like wander and fix on something. It's actually really chaotic and disorienting.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So we're seeing this moment of connection between them. We're certainly going to get more information about that as the episode goes on, but let's switch over to the playground.
Yeah.
Where we've got a whole bunch of kids
Megan.
playing, and Megan by herself listening to music.
Which, that's Megan. And I love the interplay between her and this teacher, because the teacher has some nice lines. She's like, Megan, the leather, it frightens the children and all of the faculty.
Yeah.
You're here to do a job. You need to dress professionally. And Megan's like, oh, so like you'd like my bra on the inside of my shirt?
Yeah.
If it's not too much trouble, yeah.
It's we're just seeing she's perhaps not the model employee here, because in addition to all that, she's being dismissive with at least one kid, so it's just like, I'm just listen, I'm listening to my music. Okay. Wearing my normal attire. Okay.
Yeah. This is
teachers,
me. This is the person you've hired.
Yeah, that teacher has a million things they'd rather be doing than having this conversation with Megan.
Yes.
This is not where she wants to be right now.
But then again, this is also not where Megan wants to be.
It's true.
No one really wants to be there.
Yeah, tell them what they've won. This.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we're going to head back to Dean and DeLuca, where we're going to see Felicity looking in. And she sees Ben and Avery talking. Deep in conversation. And Felicity is going to come in, and she's going to greet Avery. She's going to introduce herself. Avery's like, oh, Felicity, with the candles and the blankets. Thank you for that. Thank you for the gift. And they exchange their pleasantries. And then they invite Felicity to sit. They had been talking about the physical therapy. And Avery includes Felicity in the conversation. She asks about Elena. And because I guess she heard somewhere along the way that Elena had also been shot, or at least grazed. And so Felicity's going to update her. She's like, Elena's maybe gone a little hardcore. She's doing this self-defense class. She wants me to do it. Avery's like, oh, I was thinking about doing it too. And somehow now all three of them are going to take it together.
Which is delightful to me.
Wild, yeah. I'm glad we got there.
Note that this invitation by Felicity was pre-present.
Yeah. So Avery is going to give Ben a thank you gift, a thank you for saving my life gift. But it's not any old gift.
No, it's not.
There are some specific things about this gift, such as what fish? What were you thinking when you saw this gift?
Well, first of all, it's a watch.
Mm-hmm.
You don't buy a man a watch unless you're his girlfriend or his fiance. Like
Mm-hmm.
a watch is especially an expensive watch is that that's just code. That's written. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother's fiance gave him, I mean, wife now, but like gave him this very nice, expensive watch. Like this is not a gift from the jump. This is not a gift that anyone can just give to a guy. And
Yeah.
on top of that, she's been talking to his mom.
Because it's a swimmer's watch.
Yeah.
She talked to his mom and was like, tell me everything about Ben.
Yeah.
What kind of, and then she was getting gift ideas and she got him a top of the line swimmer's watch.
Yeah. And I mean, it
Felicity
all
hasn't
came
even met
down.
Ben's mom, right?
Uh, I don't think so.
I don't think Felicity's had any interaction with Ben's mom.
I don't think we've seen Ben's mom. But I mean, she's
Yeah.
probably met, I mean, the new mom. She's probably met her in Palo Alto at some point
But
or
we've
seen
never
her
heard her
around
mention that. I mean, we had that one moment way back when
at her
she mentioned
dad.
that she had seen his dad at the
Yeah.
store, but she's never talked about, oh, I saw your mom that one time. So,
Yeah.
like, actually, it's very possible that Avery has now met a family member that Felicity hasn't even met.
Yeah. And how she even got his mom's number, I mean, whew,
Mm-hmm.
this whole thing, it's weird. It's weird and it's invasive and it's definitely threatening to Felicity. Like, I don't think, like, once she unveils this watch
Mm-hmm.
and then says she's been talking to his mom,
Mm-hmm.
like, Felicity has every right to be threatened by this.
Yeah. And then she's, I don't know that it's softening it, but she's putting context. She's like, oh, you saved my life that day and I want to repay you. And Ben's being like, no, 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 you don't need to repay me. She's like, no, I insist.
Anything you want, just let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felicity is clearly uncomfortable.
Yeah. She's weirded out by this. And you'll see this in the different ways that Avery insists and how effective it usually is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People can't say no to it,
Mm-hmm.
but Felicity is onto it from the jump, the actual
She's
jump.
worried. I mean, she's
Mm-hmm.
definitely like wary of this woman now. Like, if she wasn't
Yeah.
before, she is now and has every reason to be.
Yeah.
Because, like, Avery didn't have to say anything more than have him open the box with the watch. And I was like, ooh. Like,
Yeah.
she's making a play for Ben. Like,
Yeah.
nothing else
And
needed to be
it's
said.
tough too, because I think I can imagine a situation where Avery isn't going after Ben, but wants to communicate the deep gratitude. Like I can
Then
imagine
don't get him
a
a watch.
platonic situation where you like have that speech. But it certainly does not read platonic here.
No.
It reads very intentional
Get him a gift
and
card.
yeah, or I don't know. There might have been ways to do it even with a gift, but it
You could
doesn't
do it with a
happen here.
gift, but there are very specific things that are only the purview of someone you're dating.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever they were going for or could have gone for. I mean, they were certainly building the right story for us. Like
Yeah.
the interpretation we had is the interpretation they were aiming for. I do think you could have a situation where somebody expresses deep gratitude and it doesn't
Hmm.
read this way, but they
Yeah.
wanted it to read this way. So it's like,
Yeah.
job well done, folks.
Yes. Good job. I mean,
Yeah.
it was perfect.
Yeah. So now we're going to go documentary style. And we're going to hear from Elena that she saw Tracy. He's back early. and he was with a woman, but he never called her to tell her that he was coming back.
Yeah.
So it's just weird to see him. And then we're going to see the ladies talking about this non-documentary style in the self-defense class.
Well, don't we see at that point where Elena says, Tracy's back?
We
Don't we
see a little
cut?
flash of what
Yeah,
that looked like, where
we
he's
cut
actually
around the
seen.
corner. Like
Yeah.
Elena comes around the corner and sees a woman approach Tracy, and they kiss.
Mm-hmm.
So
It wasn't like
they weren't making out in
they
the hallway,
weren't
but they
making
were
out,
kissing.
but it was a kiss that you wouldn't give to just like a friend.
It was on the mouth, and
Yeah.
I can say I've never kissed a friend of mine on the mouth.
I have not either. Look,
I don't walk up to my friends and be like, let's kiss on the lips. That's just
I'm not going to say it
I
doesn't
do.
happen. Yeah.
Especially if it's a guy who like maybe has a girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to see this little bit of this, and then non-documentary, we're going to see the self-defense class, and we're going to see Felicity and Elena and Avery are all there. But Elena's kind of working through what she just saw with Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And Felicity is trying to say, talk to Tracy, have a conversation with him, and Avery's going to agree.
Yeah, Avery just chimes in, and I love the way she does it. She's like, I know it's none of my business, but it's like, oh man.
Yeah, that's Avery. Man. That's Avery. So they're all talking and they're annoying the instructor. So the instructor's going to call them up to be the demonstrators of a takedown, which Avery.
They go to great lengths in this scene to make Avery look fantastic, especially in comparison to Felicity. They put Felicity in these baggy gray like sweatsuit, and Avery's got like a fitted halter top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just go way out of their way to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
And Avery's doing okay these days, and she's going to lay Felicity out on the floor.
She's quite a lot larger than Felicity.
Yeah, and she's back up to full strength. So they're just doing the assigned task, but Avery does it extremely well, and Felicity is lying on her back on the floor thinking, what is my life?
Yeah.
And who else is thinking, what is my life?
Megan.
Yeah.
But she's decided it's not the kids. The kids are fine. It's the teachers that suck.
Yeah, she's back at the ladies' apartment with Sean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's coming up to Sean to say this, who is sitting there reading Us magazine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Really? This does not seem like a Sean thing to do.
Okay.
Like, there are plenty of men, I'm sure, who read Us magazine. Sean does not seem like one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Megan is griping about the teacher, specifically the teacher who just told her to change her clothes.
Mm-hmm. She was sent home to change her clothes like she was a child.
Yeah. And Sean, who's really not thinking this through,
right,
is like, he should just get back at her, teach kids witchcraft. And the way he delivers it, you can tell that he's just joking. He's not thinking about what he's saying. He's just, it sounds like a big leap to make in a joke, but it's really something he just says off the top of his head without giving it another thought.
Mm-hmm.
But Megan does give it another thought. And you can see that kind of got in.
Megan is sitting there, and I can read her mind. She's saying, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And she's starting to make a lesson plan.
Yeah, she is. Okay, now in other inappropriate conversations. Actually, I don't even know. Well, no,
I don't know if it's inappropriate because
it's hard to say, right?
They slept together right before he left. Like, it seemed like they were back together.
Yeah, but that was a problem. like he
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 did
wasn't
say he
happy
was
about it.
leaving to think about it.
Yeah, he was like, this isn't working. I don't know what to do. And so I'm leaving because I don't know what to do. That doesn't
I have
sound
to
like
get
you're
out of
back
my own head.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is hard to say what's inappropriate and what's appropriate here, to be honest. But I guess what we get is a scene where Elena comes to Tracy's door. She knocks on it. She's like, oh, you're back. Who was the girl?
Yeah. And Tracy's like,
Um,
what? Huh? Oh,
he doesn't know that Elena saw him
no.
or him with Rose. So, and he's back a month early. And so he's caught, like so he's confused. She's like, I saw you with the girl. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, Rose, right, Rose. She's like, you're back a month early. It's like pulling teeth with this guy right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
And he says, well, Rose was in a different church group. They came back a month before mine, and I just decided to come back with them.
And Elena says, are you dating? And Tracy confirms that they are, in fact,
Going
dating.
up. I like that they didn't have us sit in the well, Elena doesn't want to sit in the ambiguity. So
Yeah.
she's Elena. She's gonna ask him and he's gonna answer because he's not an ambiguous guy either. And this is just weird, It just started weird. It's a weird situation.
It's not a
Um,
conversation he wanted to have or was ready to have, clearly, or he would have called her, right?
yeah, yeah,
So it is like pulling teeth because I feel like Tracy's the kind of guy who gives speeches, right?
yeah.
And so he thinks about what he's gonna say.
He's like,
And
baby, if you're hurting, I
right,
want to make it better.
huh? Exactly. The way he speaks is specifically designed to make Noel sound like a tool. So he didn't have it together in that moment.
He didn't. She approaches him out of the blue, right? So it's here we are. And this thing with Rose is very new because if he was supposed to be there for was it a 3 month stint?
Yeah.
And he's back a month early, so he's only known Rose for 2 months.
Yes.
Uh, it's also new, and he doesn't even really know what this thing with Rose would look like in quote the real world, because they were just doing a program that was very organized and in a different location, and
Hmm.
now they're back in New York. Who knows what this thing is? So he's probably trying to figure out a lot of stuff. That's what I
Yeah.
would say with this.
And then we cut to another scene with Avery. This is Felicity and Avery. And
Avery rings the doorbell,
she does
which
because,
means,
I mean, I'm assuming the door's locked.
yeah, that's my hope, right? I was like, yay. Yeah.
But by this point, I'm like, okay, she's everywhere. Clearly, they're trying to do that. But I'm
Yeah.
still trying to give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt at this point. I'm like, all right, she's a gift giver. Clearly, they're expensive. Like, maybe this is her, like, love language, giving gifts, receiving gifts. But it clearly makes Felicity uncomfortable because she comes in and says, I'm really sorry about throwing you on the floor and hurting your back because Felicity had to hobble up to the door holding her back.
Mm-hmm.
And she pulls out this very nice purple turtleneck
Mm-hmm.
and, is trying to give it to Felicity, and Felicity's doing everything she can not to touch the turtleneck.
Mm-hmm.
And yet she takes the turtleneck because
Yeah.
Avery says, tell you what, next time you throw me and I'll get a gift. So I was like, all right, maybe this is her love language, like giving gifts. This is what she knows. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But then she starts asking about Ben.
Yeah. How long have you
Like,
and Ben gone out?
yeah, it's like always the thing. It's like she starts talking about one thing and then she's always asking about Ben.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she says, it. it seems like you're made for each other. And at this point, after the watch, and after she's repeatedly come in looking for Ben, like asking about him constantly, at this point, I'm like, this line starts to read a little fake.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm starting to say, I'm not, like, this doesn't feel 100% genuine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting more and more suspicious as we
Okay.
go.
Okay. And so that's maybe a beat behind when Felicity started to get suspicious, but you're seeing the method for the madness.
I think Felicity started to get suspicious with the watch,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
which is fair.
So we go back to the loft where the guys are all talking about Avery, and Richard's calling her a Trustifundian. They're all speculating about her background. I think they get to the point where, oh, does her dad own a magazine or a whole publishing empire? You know,
Yeah.
it's
She's in the same category as the Rockefellers.
to
I
them
mean,
anyway. I don't know. I guess okay, maybe. So here anyway, she's acting like it. And, you know, Sean and Richard are all about Ben taking as much as he possibly can if she's willing to give.
yeah, Ben has a very interesting reaction here, which I think continues throughout the episode. You know, he says, I don't care if she's rich. And then he says, how rich? It's like his immediate reaction is, oh, I don't care. But then he's like intrigued by this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he likes the toys and he likes the gifts. And it's like he's a little kid in a candy store a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't like the attention, I guess? But you have a girlfriend. So, but you know, it's like one more grain of sand on the scale of she's potentially real trouble.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, I think in this moment, he sounds like he has an intention of like he's not going to ask for anything. It sounds he's expressing that this idea that he's just going to take from Avery isn't the way he wants to go. Noel's agreeing with it.
well, yeah, because he
Um,
says money can't buy you anything.
yeah,
Which Sean is like, well, money bought me this PlayStation.
yeah. So fair enough. So that's what Ben says he's going to do, but he immediately doesn't do that because then Avery gives him courtside seats for a Knicks game, and Ben agrees.
Yeah. When I saw them in the hallway and she hands him the courtside seats and she's like, oh, yeah, my dad's friends with the GM of the Knicks. And Ben doesn't fight too hard not to
And
take
again,
these.
she probably found out from Ben's mom that
Yeah.
he plays basketball, so she's giving him the perfect gifts.
But she said they're courtside seats, plural.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no way is one of those for Felicity.
Yeah.
There's just no way. And I mean, the watch was, I mean, maybe you forgive it once if you think she's clueless.
Mm-hmm.
But courtside seats to the Knicks where you don't take your girlfriend and you
Mm-hmm.
take another woman? No.
Yeah.
Incorrect. Felicity at this point, I think, would have been in every right to say, no, you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And probably should have.
Well, she's definitely expressing that she's not happy about this because we're going to see Ben and Felicity in Felicity's room after this. And Felicity is so weirded out by the fact that Avery just gave him tickets and didn't let him decide who to use the second ticket on.
Yeah.
It's like she wanted a you and her thing is what she wanted. And she's expressing all of this to Ben.
Now, please tell me you noticed what Felicity was wearing.
No.
she's wearing the shirt Avery gave her. She's
Oh,
wearing the purple shirt. So on the one hand, it's like she's weirded out. On the other hand, she
she
also
fell for
took a
it.
gift and she's currently wearing it.
Yeah.
So I do get how that might come off as a little hypocritical, but at the same time, like, Avery's not in the shirt with her.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Well, it just goes to show you that Avery is pretty effective, even on somebody who doesn't want to be manipulated by her or is noticing that that might be a thing that's happening. Like
uh,
she's still wearing the
she's wearing the
shirt.
shirt.
And Ben is all like, no, 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 I'm inoculated against this. It's just a basketball game. It's just, I feel sad for her. It's sad that she can only make friends by buying people things. And it's just sad, right? It's just a basketball game. It's just a basketball game. And so that's like the
That's the
refrain.
refrain. Yep.
And Felicity's going to try to use it later, and immediately it sounds
Yep.
hollow to her, but she just doesn't really believe it here, but she's not going to keep pushing on this
Yeah, she
right
agrees that it
now.
is kind of sad and she can't go anyway because she's working with Noel.
Because, at the end of the day, there's still this story. Like Avery was shot in
Mhm.
her apartment and she's recovering from this big thing. And this traumatic thing did happen and it did impact Ben.
And she's wearing the shirt Avery got her.
It's like at a certain point, like how far is too far with
The
Avery
watch.
where
The
you
watch was too
can,
far.
but I guess Felicity doesn't think so yet, so it's like the for knowing all of the baggage, all of the stuff, all the very real stuff that happened here, and feeling compassion for the stuff that Avery's just gone through. Felicity hasn't yet actually reached any point of being totally done with the situation. Like it hasn't fully crossed the line for her yet.
And here I like took a bit of a step back and just looked at this from the outside. This is the way this night looks. Ben is going to courtside seats, basketball game with another with Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And Felicity is going to work with Noel. And the
Mm-hmm.
way I kind of thought it was going to move forward from here is, Avery's starting to drive a wedge and Felicity is spending more and more time with Noel, like maybe this is how she like gets back together with Noel or something. But as we'll see in a little bit, Avery kind of gets in the middle of that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, well, let's go to Felicity and Noel. So they're working on, well, Felicity is working on Lose Your Pet Store.
Yeah.
Noel is working on spray cheese.
Noel is hilarious. He is spraying the spray cheese onto a cracker and then just licking the cheese off the cracker and spraying more cheese on the cracker. I just love this for him.
Let's just do the note from an optimist right here, shall we?
Let's do it.
Spray cheese. Come on. And we can both get in on this. This isn't going to be one of those things where I'm like, spray cheese is amazing. And you're like, but only under some circumstances.
No,
this
under
is,
every circumstance.
especially this one.
The most disgusting thing in the world.
Whether or not you're going through an existential crisis. Look, spray cheese, probably not cheese, but
no. It also doesn't spray.
The very idea of it, the very
Gross.
idea of spray cheese and that it's a comfort food and that Noel needs it. It feels right. It feels right for this moment. And
incorrect.
If it's got chemicals in it, great.
No.
Because it doesn't matter.
Look, you know what? I don't even have to say anything else. Just take everything Melissa said and reverse it, and that is my opinion. Yeah. I've tried spray cheese, and it is disgusting. It is grainy, and it tastes like, orange number whatever chemical. And I felt like it was killing me. and I never tried it again.
So here's the thing that's really funny about me making this my note from an optimist. I've never had spray cheese.
Oh,
But
see,
I
that's
can
why.
imagine
No, it's horrible.
that this is exactly what Noel needs to die instantly.
Well, yes, correct. I mean, so his point here is, I mean, Felicity points out that stuff will kill you, which is correct. And Noel's point is, look, something's going to kill me. It might as well be spray cheese, which is incorrect. There are so many better ways to go out than spray cheese. One of them being just regular cheese,
But
which
would
is
any
great.
of them enable him to spray it onto a cracker, lick the cracker, and spray more onto the cracker?
Peanut butter. Use peanut butter.
Not the same.
It's not. This stuff is so disgusting.
Yeah,
it is so disgusting. I would put it in like my top 10 worst things I've ever eaten category.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I've eaten grasshoppers. I'm just saying, my category is...
It makes me sad that spray cheese isn't like Velveeta.
Oh, I hate Velveeta.
Velveeta's good stuff. So my mom had a recipe for mac and cheese that involved Velveeta. It's the best mac and cheese I've ever had.
No. It's not the same. This is definitely worse than Velveeta.
Well, Velveeta is a very different product. I mean, Velveeta is not sprayable.
No.
And really not spreadable either.
No, it's
a bit
gloppable.
It's gloppable indeed. It's sort of it's sort of jiggleable.
I feel like that's the new Velveeta slogan. Velveeta. It's gloppable
and jiggleable.
Jiggleable.
Actually, these aren't bad things because I feel like people would love to say those things. It's gloppable, it's jiggleable, Velveeta. Anyway, guys, we are not we aren't actually spokespeople for Velveeta.
Oh, I'm definitely not, because Velveeta is also disgusting. I mean, it's not cheese. Like, whatever you want to call it, it's called Velveeta. Mm-hmm. It's not called Velveeta cheese, because it's not cheese.
Okay. It makes damn good mac and chees, though, is all I'm saying to you.
No.
You haven't had it.
I have to send you a real recipe for mac and cheese.
No, like
one
I've
that
tried
involves
other mac
like
and
Jarlsberg
cheese.
and
it's not that people ever get mac and cheese wrong, but I haven't found any that I
on top with some breadcrumbs. You bake it in the oven. I mean,
none of it sounds bad.
You should never be able to stir mac and cheese, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people feel like mac and cheese should be something you can stir.
I do.
And see, and then maybe it's just different because this is how my mom made it and this is how I make it. But like, mac and cheese to me is something that like you cut like a loaf.
What?
And yes.
Guys, this note from an optimist has been highly controversial.
Look, we're going to have to post both of our recipes and have people...
Cutting mac and cheese like a loaf is where you absolutely lost me. I cannot
make it in a loaf
any recommendations on recipes from you.
No, this is... It's made with like high quality, multiple types of cheese, Jarlsberg, Gruyere, the Parmesan on top. There's a couple more cheeses. You bake it and put the breadcrumbs on top, and then you cut it, and it like stays in its.
No. Okay. So I'm willing to get on board with a lot of things you're saying, but cutting it like a loaf is beyond the pale. Guys, I thought Fish and I were friends. Okay, I'm just reevaluating everything right now. Listeners, I'm sorry. I'm having a crisis of faith. Alongside Noel's
existential crisis. You're having an existential crisis with regards to our friendship.
Look, this isn't going to be the last great experience we have with Noel in this episode, though. I mean, they just give him so much stuff.
They do. They do.
They went all in on Noel existential crisis.
Yes.
Like dialogue, which was just a delight. So here's the thing. Noel... Felicity is going to share what Ben's up to, and Noel is really... It's not so much that Noel isn't buying it, but that Noel's deadpanning the whole thing and no sort of lack of support on her, like, faking that it's okay, makes her see how stupid everything she's saying really is. And she already knew it, but just hearing it come out of her own mouth is not sounding good. So she's like, yeah, it's the two of them at a basketball game. It's just a basketball game. He's like, right. Yeah. She's like, right, isn't it? I mean, it's not like I shouldn't be worried. She's not like beautiful. It's just like, well, he's not an ugly person.
Yeah. And he's like, but don't be worried. And it's Ben, like, don't be worried. But yeah,
She's worried.
He's definitely bringing up some questions in her mind.
She already had them, but like the fact that he can't just be like, it's not really a thing and be convincing about it is just sort of poking at her.
Denial does not run that deep.
Yeah. So she leaves the scene. She's pretty worried about it, actually, seems like. And we're gonna head from here to a scene at the loft. Megan is feeling pretty good because she knows exactly what she wants to do with her life.
Mm-hmm.
Sean,
wants to be a teacher.
Yeah, Sean's first guess was, the transvestite designer clothing company.
Mm-hmm. But it's not that.
It's not that. It's another thing. It's teaching.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty big turnaround from what he had initially been hearing from her, where she was like, I never want to be around kids. And now she's like, I want to teach kids forever.
No.
She informs him that she taught Leslie some spells, some pooping and peeing spells for the kindergarten set. She's working on a spell kit. She's putting some stuff together so that she can make Leslie know how to do all these spells. And Leslie has really found herself. She's found a confidence. She's talking with people.
She's given her self-esteem.
Yeah.
She's excited. She's become more creative. This is really energizing Megan.
And for as much as Sean's initial advice to her to teach them witchcraft was something he said without thinking, he obviously remembers that this is where this came from. Him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, this is insane. This is like, I wasn't serious. You should not be teaching them witchcraft.
Yeah. And she hits the roof. She's just like, this is a really big deal for me. This is the first time I have wanted to do something with my life that's legal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the first time I know what I want to do with my life. I'm doing it. I can't believe you're not supportive about this.
Yeah.
Like, I like Sean does a little, it's funny because they will eventually see a couples counselor. They haven't done that yet. So I don't know where this is coming from Sean, where he's like, you're right. You'll be great. I'm glad you found something you like to do. And I was like, who is this person?
I love this reaction from him because she is clearly really excited about this. Mm-hmm. And it's helping the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Is it gonna... Yeah, okay, yes. But I'm guessing that the teacher who argued with her about her clothing choices is going to have something to say about this too.
Yes, but so what? Teachers suck. It's about the kids, and the kids are doing really well with this. Okay. It's something, again, creative and something that is helping them. So,
it's good stuff. Yeah. So they have a fight, but they don't break up. It's the first time ever.
Yeah,
look at what
weird.
They did.
They have decided maybe they need a new kink.
I guess so. Like loaf mac and cheese.
It's amazing.
I can't with this.
Have you ever had it?
I don't even want to have it from what you just said.
I have had all the stirred mac and cheese. It's all gross. Mac and cheese should be baked in the oven.
Yeah, the No, the mac and cheese I'm talking about was baked in an oven in a casserole
But
dish.
with Velveeta, so you can stir
Yes.
it.
Yes.
No,
Because that is how mac and
that
cheese should
is
be
not a
made.
thing.
It is a
I mean, I
thing.
know it's a thing. It's just that that's the way mac and cheese is when it comes out of a box.
It doesn't come out of a
I know,
box.
but like it's basically the same principle. Like putting Velveeta on noodles and baking it in a casserole dish is roughly the same as taking it out of a box and then pouring the cheese, the like Velveeta on it.
Listeners, we need you. We need your recipes. We need your input.
Yes. Help us
I'm finding this painful.
help us end the great 2023 mac and cheese debate.
Yeah. This is alongside some of our biggest debates.
Yeah.
We've like tripled our number of biggest debates we've ever had by doing this podcast. I want you all to know. Okay.
It's true.
We do
gone
this
from
for
one
you.
to three.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I can't remember. What was it? What was the other one about thumbs not being fingers?
No, that's just true. Thumbs
Was
are not
that the one I'm
fingers.
thinking of though?
I don't think so.
Okay, there was another
That one
Okay.
there was another one.
There was a resolution. Okay, so yeah, I
There
mean
was
this
no
has
resolution.
been wild. What a
We
ride.
still disagree because it's a red doily.
Oh, what were the peppermint? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. That is what it was. Yeah. Guys, we do this for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
So all right, let's go back to Felicity and Noel. Felicity is going to field a call from Ben, who is calling from a party that sounds pretty loud. Avery put Felicity's name on the list, so she should come, is what he says. And then Felicity's like, well, yeah, but can Noel come too? Noel's like, don't want to come. She's like, can Noel come too? And then Ben walks over to Avery, says, can Noel come too? Avery's like, sure. Okay. So the theory is that Felicity and Noel should be able to arrive at this party and get let in.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to go to the line. You may remember this line from
the Aretha theory.
From the Aretha theory, a couple different scenes there. That may be where you remember this from. And different bouncer.
Yes.
Same line.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a guy in line that I recognized from General Hospital from years ago.
Oh no.
He didn't have a speaking role. He was just standing in line. I was like, isn't that the guy who played like whatever his name was, Nicholas, in General Hospital? For those of you who were watching General Hospital around like the thing is, this felt like a backslide because I feel like he was on General Hospital with a pretty big role during this.
Sadness.
I could have the years a little off, but I don't think so. So anyway, he had a moment in the show Felicity, and he was in this line. And Noel, I love everything about Noel in this line. They go up to the bouncer, and Felicity is like, I'm Felicity, and I have a +1. And Noel's like, I'm a +1. I have no identity of my own. And then the bouncer says, yeah, you're not on the list. And Noel's like, so I'm -1.
Yep.
It was so amazing. And so Felicity runs through a whole other series of names it could be under, and they're not. They are not on the list. And
Felicity thinks Avery didn't put them on the list on purpose and expresses this to Noel, who will call her paranoid.
Yeah, she's getting pretty fired up here. But then we're going to see what's happening inside the party, where Avery is in her element.
Avery is introducing her new boyfriend around to her friends.
Yeah.
And you know what they're really shocked about? Finding out he has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That isn't Avery.
And the other thing that was interesting was that they were having this conversation about all the gifts they've given each other.
Yeah.
It was just such a language between them.
Yeah.
I don't even really know that I think they're that close.
It did seem like it was her posse.
Yeah.
It didn't seem
It
like they were equals.
mm, okay. That makes sense to me because it read like they give each other gifts, but do they like what else is their relationship? And it doesn't feel like there's a lot underneath it, but I don't know. That makes
I
sense
don't
the way
know.
you interpreted that.
I mean, it's just the way that the one girl said, this is the most generous, woman in the world. And Avery does say, like, who bought me these earrings? So, maybe possibly they are. It depends on how expensive those earrings are.
Mhm.
But I don't know, the way they were talking about it made it feel to me
Like
like
Avery
these are
groupies.
hangers on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to go back to the line, which isn't as fun as what's happening in the party. And Noel has now been like, okay, Felicity, just stand over here. Noel's going to go up to the bouncer and he's going to say, I know we're on the list, but let me ask you something. We're not on the list, but let me ask you, like, does the list matter? Because in my estimation, only one list actually matters, and that's the list on who goes upstairs. No, not the VIP room.
Mhm.
Upstairs, upstairs. It is just delightful to see existential Noel confusing a bouncer.
Well, the bouncer's just, I mean, Noel is like, I feel like didn't he say something like, I feel like I'm annoying you now? Or maybe he said that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but basically, yeah, he goes into the existential thing about the list in heaven and then pulls out money to bribe him. And the guy's just like, you gotta be kidding me. Because it's
Yeah.
not enough money. And then, but he takes it.
And then he lets him in.
That has been
Whatever
my
Noel did, it
experience.
worked. And I don't know if it was the paltry bribe or the
It
list
was the
doesn't
bribe.
matter bit.
I mean, at least in my experience, it's the bribe because I've had this exact thing happen where I'm like with people and they like hand the money over and the person is just like, you gotta be kidding, this is not enough. But they take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. There you have it. Bouncer 101, I guess. Who knows? So they're going to get in, and Felicity is going to spot Avery and Ben talking close.
Talking and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's gonna say your favorite line.
Yep. Felicity goes up to Avery and says, can I talk to you for a second?
And what is Felicity wearing?
No clue. Still the shirt?
Still the shirt. She's
Oh.
still wearing the purple turtleneck that Avery bought her
It's a
while
real
having
mixed
this
message there for
conversation with
Avery.
her.
I feel
Yeah.
like Felicity should know not to be wearing that right now, but I guess they were trying
Yeah.
to make a point. Um, the show was, uh, hey, look, when was the last time Felicity said to somebody, can I talk to you for a second? And it was about something good. Never.
Never.
So so Noel is like, Ben, do you want to dance?
Yeah. That's
Because
great.
we got to do something.
Really wish they
Uh,
had.
that would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then, so Felicity is going to go to Avery and say, hey, we weren't on the list. And before you say there was a mix up, I'm on to you.
Oh.
It's like, can we just cut right to it? Really, though?
Yeah.
Can we?
I don't like feeling insecure.
Yeah.
So she wants this wrapped up. She wants to know, are you going after my boyfriend? And
Well, she
Avery,
said, are you interested in my boyfriend?
okay, are you interested in my boyfriend? And Avery, I mean, you could say to her credit, but by this point, I'm like, no. She was like, yeah, I'm interested in Ben.
So what was interesting about what she says here is the journey she went on in her answer, which was such a confusing journey. And I feel like this is part of how she operates. Like she says something that puts your back up, and then she sounds like she's softening it. And then she leaves you with like a, whoa, what? sort of feeling. And it leaves just enough time for you of being confused that she can get away from the conversation. I feel like this is her pattern because what she says here, Felicity point blank says, "Are you interested in my boyfriend?" She says, "Yes." And then she has her softener. She says, "But I don't have a chance with him. You guys are so great together. But I died and Ben was with me and we're connected."
I
And then,
saw into his soul.
yeah, and I can't stop thinking about it. And then she's like, one of these days I'm going to learn that I'm rich and entitled and I can't have everything I want, I guess.
Yeah, it's the I
So it's like,
guess.
it's the all of it, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
yes, I am going after him, but I don't have a chance, but I still want him and I'm still going to try. And so you should be worried. It's like, what?
I think it's I think it's one step further because it's, yes, I'm interested. Lie, I have no chance. I feel this connection with him and I will get him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think the I guess means. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I am going to get him
Yeah.
because I get
It's
everything I want.
She got Felicity's attention enough at the moment where she seemed to be backing down and saying, "No, you guys are great together and I don't have a chance with him." So Felicity stayed in that conversation to hear the turn,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like by the end of it, it was like, you feel like, what is the aftertaste of this? It's not good. Like,
No. And by
but
this point, I've gone from thinking, you know, Avery's making a play for Ben to like now she's really entitled, and not only is she gonna sort of try to get in there, but she's gonna do it in these devious kind of ways with
Mhm.
a real bite to it. I mean, yeah, there's the I was connected, saw into his soul kind of thing, but there's also the I'm a rich brat who gets whatever I want.
Mhm. Mhm.
And but my feelings about her continue to evolve
Yeah.
as we keep going.
Yeah. But
But
I
that's where
think,
I am right now. I'm like, so she's manipulative, she's good at it.
yeah.
There's definitely a bite.
Because for all of this, you're saying Felicity's still wearing her sweater while she's having this conversation. So how hard a line is Felicity really making against Avery?
I mean, I don't think
Um,
she could have taken it off in the club.
she didn't have to be wearing it, like I
Yeah.
think it's it's um it's still working a little, you
Well, the
know?
thing is, when there's a huge difference, I think, between when Felicity went to the party thinking she was going to be on the list, and when she has this conversation with Avery, where Avery flat out says, I'm interested in Ben and I'm going to get him.
There
So,
is
like,
a difference, but I
between those
think,
two, she couldn't have taken the shirt off.
yeah, but I think that even how she was feeling before she went to the party was enough to make a different wardrobe choice. She was at
I,
her apartment.
I mean, I agree. I do think, but I also think she maybe wasn't thinking straight. She was like, I have to get to the party
Hmm. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's where Ben is, and he's there with Avery.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
So
does have it gives us a weird shot of Felicity wearing the shirt while having this conversation with Avery.
yeah. And we definitely are sure now that Avery knows exactly what she's trying to do and is doing
Mhm.
it.
Yes.
Now we're going to head to a couple Elena Tracy moments. So we're going to get some documentary style conversation from Elena, where she's just highlighting how her thoughts have evolved, where she's like, maybe this is good that Tracy's in a relationship with Rose. Tracy, he should be in this relationship. He needs a relationship without the sex. Maybe Rose is good. Um, she's bargained herself out of this, like it's part of the grief process, I guess.
Oh, I don't think that's what's going on at all. I think
Denial.
she No, I think she is like, oh, for this moment, Tracy needs to be in a relationship without sex, but like we're gonna get back together eventually
Mhm.
when he's more ready for it.
She hasn't actually said the right now part in the documentary style portion of
But
it,
I
but she
felt
will in the
that.
next scene. You
Yeah,
did?
like I felt that in what she's saying right here. I was
Okay.
like, and then I wrote down, he's definitely sleeping with Rose.
Mm. So Elena's going to catch up with Tracy at the bar. And which didn't, was it Epstein bar?
I just assume all bars are Epstein bar now.
Kind of didn't look like Epstein bar to me, but maybe it was just a different angle. Um, so Elena and Tracy are having a chat. Elena's like, "Yeah, I'm cool with Rose. You should be with her right now,
Mhm.
for the moment." Tracy's like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like, I didn't have to tell you. And Elena's like, yeah, the whole church thing, she's a better match at the moment. The sex, it would have been the end of us. And Tracy's just kind of like, at the moment?
Yeah, did you say at the moment? She's
Yeah.
like, "Well, no, I want you to be happy."
hmm
And that's good enough for Tracy, I feel like. So maybe we should sit and have dinner. So gets up to maybe, I don't know, go to the bathroom or something. He says, "Order some food for me.
No,
It's
he
on me."
says, it's
Oh,
on
order
me.
some
Yep.
food on me.
Yep.
And then he tells her what his order is, and she's gonna grab his wallet and she's gonna open it up and see that there's a condom inside it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to do with this from Tracy's side because I don't feel like he was trying to tell Elena that he's having sex with Rose. But also, how do you forget there's a condom in your wallet and hand it to her when
Mm-hmm.
this has been such a thing? Like, take your wallet with you, pay when you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to pay up front to order food at a bar. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening here with Tracy? I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay.
I,
They
I
will
just think
continue to
that's
explore
not,
this. Yeah.
I just think that's not, it's either it means something that I don't understand right now, or I think it's just bad writing for his character.
I don't think it's bad writing. It's awkward and clunky, but there's a reason.
So he did want her to know that he's sleeping with Rose. Or
Maybe.
he did want her to find the condom.
Maybe.
So you're not going to spoil this part for me.
Nah.
Okay.
This one feels like a fun one for you to just twist in the wind about. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to hear your musings, to be honest. Um,
Eh.
but you will get your question answered, just not in this episode. So we're going to head to Felicity's room. Felicity and Ben are there, and Felicity is angry. Just so angry.
Yeah.
Avery told me she's interested in you. Who does that? She's unabashedly evil.
Yep. Yes.
Ben's like, "Hey, she was shot." Felicity's like, "That doesn't last forever, that excuse. She's a human. She's a person. She's responsible for her actions." She's so
This
angry.
is similar to Megan being upset every time Sean would say, I lost a testicle. You only get to use that excuse for so many things and so many times.
It's true. It's true. Ben is smiling and
Yeah.
kind of like,
He's so
just,
amused.
you hate her. Your lips
Yeah.
get tight. You hate her. I've never seen something like this before. He's so in it that he doesn't see how manipulated he's getting.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he thinks he's above the manipulation of it all.
Or thinks she's not trying anything.
Either one, he doesn't think this is an issue because it's not an issue for him.
Yeah.
But it actually is.
Yeah.
And
then here we get the bomb dropped. We only know Avery because of Molly.
I knew that would land for you.
I mean, seriously, of all the things to bring to the show, Molly, James and Avery, and meth. Really?
Yeah. But also Bubbles and Squeak.
She's
No,
not
you're
even
not.
English. Oh no, she was
She,
English.
yeah,
She's
she still
studying
is.
abroad. All right.
Um,
Whatever.
yeah. What do you say to that? Bubbles and Squeak. Anyway, so Felicity is like, Avery is everywhere. And
Hmm.
Ben is like, stop it. Stop it. I only want to be with you. I only want to be with you, which is a good thing for him to say here. But the thing is, Felicity isn't really. Felicity does buy that Ben's saying it, but she's worried about Avery. And she's like, look, she's so persuasive.
That's the thing, is she's not so much worried that Ben is going to make this decision to not be with her. It's that she's worried that Avery is somehow able to force him to be with her because she just somehow gets what she wants. It's like
Mm-hmm.
magic.
Yeah. And we're both taking gifts from her, and she's
Mhm.
recognizing that she's wearing the sweater, which I hadn't actually clocked that she was wearing it. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing that. Um, and Ben's got the watch and the game and he's doing all this stuff. And Ben said, "Look, they were thank you gifts. She thanked us. In one case, it was an apology gift. She apologized. Like it's done. We're fine." They hug. It's
Well,
not
he
really
pulls her
done.
up on top of her, on top of him, and they do this cute little nose rub, little little nose rub.
Yeah,
Rub their
yeah.
noses together. It's adorable.
So we're having that moment, and Avery's on to phase two.
Oh,
Avery
you
and
think this is
Noel.
only phase two?
Well,
I feel like this is phase seven.
okay, phase seven, which is Avery and Noel are at the loft. They've gone back there after it's their after party.
Hmm.
Um,
It's after the party. It's the after party.
yeah,
After the after
and
party, it's the hotel lobby.
uh,
And after the lobby. No, okay, go
okay, gotcha.
ahead.
So Avery is buttering Noel up all the way. She's definitely seducing him, and she's like, "You're a good dancer. Let's toast to closing the club." I love how Noel just like breaks down what Noel closing the club is. He's like,
Yeah.
"It's so weird, like when they shut off the lights and close the door."
They turn the lights on. And it is
Or
weird.
yeah,
It's so weird. Um,
yeah,
it's odd. But he's so drunk. He's
yeah.
so drunk.
And then she's,
Oh,
complimenting him on the apartment. And once again, the show wants us to know this apartment is rent control.
yes.
And
Because, I mean, look, she has money. She's got to comment on it.
yeah. And so Avery finds out that Ben is staying at Felicity's for the night, so she can go into this phase
Because
seven.
because she asks
Mm-hmm.
again. Again, she's asking about Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Avery switches gears. She's like, you know what? When I told you that I had all this new meaning in my life, I don't feel that way anymore. No more purpose. I'm lost.
And this to me is a complete lie. It is 100% just getting what she wants in the moment. She's flat out just lying. She's like,
Yeah,
this is what he wants to hear, and I'm
yeah.
going to tell him whatever he wants to hear to get him in bed for the moment.
Yeah, it
Like,
reads
that's
as
what I want right now.
manipulation to me too, for sure. Yeah. I mean, she knows that he was feeling lost himself.
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
exactly what you say to him to connect with him.
Hmm.
And he's like, me too. I'm lost too. I'm graduating in 8 weeks. It's crazy.
Hmm.
Um, and then, so Avery goes in for the kiss with Noel. And I had to watch this moment a couple times because I couldn't decide if they went slow mo as she was
Hmm.
going in for the kiss. If you look
I
really
didn't
closely,
notice.
it feels like they slowed it down to like as their lips were approaching. And I was so confused by that technique. Um, if it was what they were doing. But
I'll have to watch it again now.
Yeah, I'm undecided. I couldn't quite figure it out, but it didn't look real time. So,
Interesting.
yeah, if it wasn't real time, I don't know what that's supposed to tell me, to be honest with you. So, I don't know. Um, anyway, so let's go to the playground where Megan is actively teaching a spell to Leslie.
Yep. She's got a box. She's pulling out some stuff. She's showing her. Here's some,
Hmm.
what is it, snake poop?
Yeah, something like that.
Some form of poop.
And the teacher who got on her case for her attire is done with this. She's like, I'm reporting you. I am so reporting you on this. I'm going to report your ass.
Yes.
No, she doesn't say that, but she is going to do it.
She's going to report her to the, there's a psychologist. Was it a psychologist or a psychiatrist? I can't remember. I think it was a
They,
child psychologist.
yeah, they're going to do a psychological evaluation of Megan.
Yeah. It's like, of all the things to report, like, if you're going to report someone, report them to the principal for maybe teaching something that's not allowed. I don't know. But
Hard
like,
to say.
it's such a weird thing for a teacher to say, I'm going to get a psych eval done on you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Megan's not feeling good about where this is
Tell the
headed.
principal.
Yeah. So let's go back to the loft
Oh, man.
for a moment of product placement that will never be forgotten. So Ben and Felicity are going to arrive, and Sean and Richard are already there, drooling over. Like in the middle of the room, there is parked a Ducati,
Yep. Bright red.
gift from Avery. And Sean and Richard are so loving it.
Hmm.
And they're talking about naming it. Richard's like, you should call it Hellion. You have to keep this.
Yeah.
Ben's not going to keep it. He's like, I'm not keeping this. Nope, this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says initially.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to cut away from that action for a minute. Felicity's going to get pulled away by Noel because Noel's got newfound energy.
Yep. He's been inspired for a moment.
Yeah, it's the had sex with Avery energy.
Yes.
And so he's now got all these ideas for a loser pet store. And Felicity's like, but wait, can we just talk for a second about the Ducati in the kitchen? And he's like, yeah, I can't believe it. I was with her when she ordered it. Just like, it was like a pizza. She just ordered it. She's like, you were with her?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. How did that happen?
Well...
You see, what had happened was.
I don't even know how he's trying to deliver this, but he's just like, yeah, I slept with her. I mean,
I mean, Felicity, the look on her face as she says, "You slept with Avery,"
it's like
is
Avery
so
got another person.
Disgusted.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like she feels sick.
Yeah.
No one has lost respect.
Yeah.
Are the company you keep.
And look, Noel's like, hey, look, when Avery wants something, she wants it.
Right. And that is what has been worrying.
That is my answer. Yeah. And then we're going to cut from this to Felicity going back into the main room to find Ben sitting on the bike.
And let me tell you, damn, does he look good sitting on that bike. Oh my God.
Okay.
That is a poster for a wall.
Yeah, and then he sees that she's caught him being on the bike, and she's worried. She's flat out worried.
That's what I have. Worried.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to head from here to self-defense class. Elena is not at this one, probably because she's licking her wounds still about Tracy. So it's just going to be Felicity and Avery. Perfect. That's all we need, because they're going to be called up once again to demonstrate the exact same thing that they were doing in the last class. They haven't learned a new takedown. And so they're called up again. This time it's going to be, Felicity flipping Avery.
But before they do that, they have a little verbal sparring match. where Felicity's like, I saw the bike. He's not keeping it. And Avery just laughs and says, no guy is going to return that bike.
Yeah, Felicity's like, no, and I'm returning the sweater shake. But Avery's like, nope, none of these things are happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very quick, very terse dialogue, very tightly coiled between the two of them. Like, this is full on, they are now combatants.
Well, but Avery isn't, she's not stressed. I mean,
Because
Felicity
she's
is
just going to
mad.
win. Yeah.
Right. Like, she's never lost before, so.
Yeah. 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 But Felicity is the thing that she has to cut through to get to Ben. She's very aware of that.
And Felicity's going to fight for her man.
Yeah. She's gonna take down Avery.
Yeah.
And then when she does,
Take
she's
her
like,
down hard.
I'm returning the top.
She already returned the top.
She already did. Yeah.
You're going to get a credit.
Yeah. Take your
I
money
only
and
wore it
spin on it.
twice.
Yeah. So there's that. We are going to head back to the girls' apartment, and we're going to see Felicity is excited. She's going to do a little chokehold on a very depressed Elena.
Very.
And Elena is feeling it. It's all hitting her where she's just realizing, like, okay, so this wasn't about Tracy not wanting to sleep with me. He just doesn't love me because he's sleeping with Rose.
Yeah. I mean, I get where she's coming from. You know, she's like, I thought sex was the issue. You know, he didn't want to have sex with anyone, and that was the issue. But actually, he just never loved me because he is sleeping with Rose, which makes me feel like maybe he's not sleeping with Rose because I do think he loves her. So I don't know. I'm a little confused by this. Like, at first, I was like, he's definitely sleeping with Rose. But once we get to this point, I'm like, well, if she's equating those two things, I don't think that's correct. I think he absolutely loved her. I think he probably still does love her. I don't know what's going on with him and Rose, but you know,
Yeah.
if he left that condom in there to be found, then perhaps, I don't know, he's playing a game, which is not, I feel like it's not a Tracy thing to do. So I'm just confused for the moment.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. I'm going to let you sit here and be confused. That's what I'm going to do.
I mean, I'm always confused. It's fine.
So let's wrap up with some Avery Ben stuff. So we're going to go documentary. Ben doesn't want to push Avery away. He's very aware of like the circumstances under which they met, and it was a thing. It was traumatic, and he doesn't want to push her away, but he's going to have to tell her to stop because this is a lot, is what he says. Yeah. And then we get...
Well, he says he can't keep the bike, and he takes the watch off at the table. And it's like, I don't want stuff.
Well, so now we're non-documentary now, and we're going to Dean and DeLuca, for this conversation between Ben and Avery.
Yeah. And they're sitting across from each other, and he just makes it very clear, like, I don't want stuff.
Yeah.
So what Avery hears is like, okay, that path didn't work.
Yeah. New tactic is what she's saying in her brain. So she takes a beat. She thinks about the new tactic. She's got 7 she's choosing from in her brain, and she's like, I want C because I think that one will work. And then she says, what did you see in the ambulance? I was like, oh God, here we go. This is going to be manipulative. So he says, well, I saw that you died. And she said, did you hear anything? Because I heard you. I heard your voice. And I think it was just things you were thinking. And you were saying to me, don't go, Avery, stay.
And he says, that is what I was thinking.
She says, well, I heard you and I stayed. And then I woke up and you were there. And I feel like I belong with you now.
And he says, but that can't be right. I have a girlfriend.
Yeah. And so she's like, look, take back the stuff. You can take back the stuff all you want. But what
She
matters,
starts crying.
yeah. She's like, what matters is what we went through. Like, I've never felt this way before. Don't think you have either. Like this experience we had, like it is a singular experience. Um, and that's where she's landing. And Ben's listening.
Yeah. He doesn't say anything. That's just where they leave us.
It is
Without a
where they leave
full,
us.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a full reaction, but it's also not an immediate no, shutting it down.
Yeah, I mean, because he did and go in intending to shut down the gifts. And I think the fact that she tried this approach, he maybe wasn't expecting it. But it is harder to shut that part down because it's the thing he's probably been thinking about so much. And so it's just, Avery's trying this road, seeing where it leads her.
Yeah, and I had by the end of this episode, I have an opinion on Avery that may or may not bear out, but I feel like it is definitely representative of this episode, and I want to go back and watch this episode with that in mind and see if it bears out in the future episodes.
Well, where did you land?
We'll introduce the next category and you'll
Okay.
find out.
Well, fish. We
Yeah.
are now in the You're the worst segment of our show. And who's the worst?
Yeah. I already spoiled that.
Uh-huh.
Avery,
Okay.
you're the worst. I just met you. You were shot, and I really did try to like you. But damn, in one episode, you took me from rooting for you to legit hating you. And I know exactly why. You're entitled, and I think you may be a psychopath. A watch is a girlfriend's gift, and you know it. You're trying to buy Ben or get him by any other means, like using your trauma to try to bond with him. And here's how I know it's fake. You're one person with Ben and another with Felicity. You said you get what you want. You slept with Noel, and then when buying things for Ben didn't work, you switched to another manipulation tactic. Psychopaths disregard the rights of others, are unable to distinguish between right and wrong, don't have empathy, tend to lie, and manipulate others to get what they want. Sound familiar, Avery? I can't believe that you are already the worst.
I mean, Avery, you're the worst. Look, I
I think she's a psychopath. I honestly think in this episode,
mhm.
she's diagnosable.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get more evidence to that effect. I think that so when I've said that I'm interested to see Avery and talk about all this, and I totally understand why we all don't like Avery. We wouldn't want her in our lives. We don't want her wrapping her claws around, wrap claws around Ben, but you can,
You could.
get your claws into Ben. You like, she's not designed to be a sympathetic character, which takes some effort because she had a thing happen that should make you feel sympathetic to her initially, and they turn her all the way by the end of this episode.
Like
And so
real
I
fast.
appreciate that as an audience, so many of us don't like Avery. But for me, I think that it's very interesting to have her on the show because I think we need to see what happens to Ben. with this. And I think some of the things about Avery that I think are going to be interesting to look at are from the standpoint of Avery herself. You have talked a lot about Ben's hero complex, and Ben literally saved her life. So what work does that do on the inner psyche of him if you didn't even have her in the rest of this episode and we just knew that he just actually saved a person's life, or was with her when her life was saved? I guess, it depends on how you look at this, but I think what a moment for a hero complex. This is really confusing stuff designed for Ben, because it's like this new tactic that she's trying at the end of this episode of let me just hone in on the point that we had this moment and you saved me and I feel indebted to you and I feel connected to you. Like, I do think that's the right approach with him. And he, it's working on all that stuff. All the stuff that you saw when he was with Julie, and all the stuff that you've seen and how he's been with Molly. It's like, this is a new person for him to save. And even when he says to Felicity that he feels sorry for her because this is how she makes friends, it kind of feels like it's still coming from that place for me. So I think Avery herself is interesting to me because of the way that it lets us think about his hero complex. But then the incident, the trauma that they experienced, I think of as a separate thing, even bigger than Avery. That's I think he was deeply affected by that moment in ways that he can't quite figure out what to do with. And I think it's different from Avery herself. Avery seems to have linked those things entirely together in her mind. And I think that he takes the trauma for the trauma that it is. And I think his moment was seeing her be saved, seeing her come back to life. So I think that this existence of Avery is so interesting in the way that it just shakes Ben.
Yeah. I mean, Avery is the worst. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of fascinated by her. I think she's going to be really interesting to watch and analyze and see how she works and what it does to the dynamic of this whole group. I kind of feel like, and again, could be wrong, but I kind of feel like I am going to love hating her.
That's where I sit. We're not designed to like her as a person or as a character, but I think she does so much for the plot, and she does so much for the people. And I honestly do. I think if I think about how Ben gets to Old Man Ben in season 4, I'm certain that the evolution he goes through here is a big part of it. And it's just a matter of him figuring out what it all means.
I mean, I'm absolutely I am very interested to see what happens to the group and to the individual people as they interact with her. But also, just as a character, into and of herself, if she continues along these lines, I'm just interested in that. I'm interested in how she works and just kind of I don't know, there's something.
And you're going to get more of it.
Yeah, there's just something about, a group of people who are diagnosable, who are just so completely different, and understanding their worldview and how they live their life. That I find it very interesting. So I don't think for me it's just going to be a plot thing. I actually think I'm really going to enjoy figuring out all the horrible evil ways that she does get what she wants or
Mm-hmm.
tries to get what she wants, because that's the hallmark of a sociopath, right? They will do or say anything they can get away with to get what they want.
Yeah. And she's gonna try some different things, that's for sure. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested. I'm hooked. I am going to be really interested in the next few episodes to see where this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Fish, it's time for us to go to our favorite segment.
Yay.
After you listen to this tape, you have to erase it. Okay, so couple different things. Let's see. There's one grouping of comments that we can put together here. I'm going to start with the Molly related stuff. So, okay, first we have a comment from at Insta.Mickey, who went on a journey with this series of thoughts to us. This was two different comments, slightly separated in time. I have a feeling that Molly was brought to fill the void left by Julie. Maybe this was all a Julie storyline. I have nothing against the character herself. I feel sorry for her drug and boy problem. But then sometime later, she came back and said, guys, I said I didn't have a problem with Molly. That was before listening to Fish going through all of her manipulations, especially towards Ben. Makes so much sense. And I have been manipulated with them. Oh my God. I so bloody hate her at this point.
Oh no, look what I did.
Mickey.
We didn't mean to bring you down.
I just want all of us to feel the journey alongside our friend at Insta.Mickey. We're sorry that we just, wow.
I mean, didn't you also say that you didn't think of her in that way?
Didn't think of her in the way of being manipulating.
Yeah,
I
like
think
going
at
through and
times it was
being.
very obvious, but I think there were moments when, I think the thing about some of the types of manipulation she was doing, and I've seen this in situations when drugs weren't involved as well, where it's hard at times to decipher to what extent somebody is manipulating you or to what extent they've manipulated their self first, believe what they're saying, and are saying it to you. And you can go back and forth on that forever. And I don't know if the answer matters, because at the end of the day, the result for you as somebody like experiencing it is still the same. You're still getting manipulated. And whether or not it's because the person is being intentional about it or they're in total denial themselves and happy to be there, it's still not healthy. But I think I do debate at moments where it's coming from for Molly. And again, it doesn't matter what the answer is. But I think for you, it sounded like you erred on the side of this is intentional earlier than I would have.
Yeah, it definitely matters to me whether it's denial or intentional manipulation in terms of, do I necessarily want this person still in my life? If it's intentional manipulation, then it's like a hard no. Sometimes if it's
But with the
denial,
denial piece, it's a real tricky one too, because it's like, is this denial where maybe one day they'll not be in denial anymore, they'll see it and they'll change, or is this a forever denial?
right?
And
And
I think,
that's where it's like, for me, it's like on a if it's denial, then if it's something that either they can get over, or I can sort of see around and therefore forgive it, fine. If it's workable, if it's remains healthy for me to be in that relationship, I can do it. But for me, it's like automatic no if it's intentional, and it's a maybe. It depends on the circumstance if it's denial. And I do think she had both. I think she absolutely had denial around James. But I also think, when she came in the door and was walking towards the sofa, knowing that Felicity and Ben wanted James out, and started, immediately effusively saying how thankful and everything, I think she knew exactly what she was doing there. Like that type of stuff, I just call BS.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Well, we have a slightly different angle on the Molly James stuff here from at Olivia Cooks. The Molly James story was kind of the worst. I mean, I think everybody's been the Molly to somebody's James at some point, but I am here for Felicity, not for Molly, James, or the worst, Avery, tied with Lauren.
I don't know who Lauren
You don't
is.
know who Lauren is yet. I put Lauren as the worst above all of those people myself. Not into it, not happy about it.
Hmm.
We'll get there. Um,
Lauren is the worst, like, as in not interesting because of the show, or like, and worst as in like actual evil person.
I just don't need her. Like I just
So like unnecessary to the show. She's your Molly.
she's she has plot that is integral, but I just why did we go there? Um is where I land with it. So I think I just don't know why we went there with Lauren.
Yeah. So it's not
Um
like the character herself, it's her function within the show.
Her function within the show, which is a major function. I mean, for you, I think the concern with Molly initially was what is her function at all? I knew we
Yeah.
were heading towards a very major. I knew we were heading toward James a shooting Avery. Like I knew what Molly was there for. It's just that they spent like weeks spinning their wheels with her, and making you suspicious of her and like
Yeah.
wonder why she was there. And then they have a reason and they just took their sweet time getting there. Lauren has a reason for being in the show, and I'm just not about her plot. Um,
Okay.
and
So
it's
it's not the,
like,
yeah, it's not, so it could be that like Avery is still the worst, but Lauren is just not necessary. Like not interesting, don't need it. Got it.
uh,
Not that
yeah. I
she's like a
mean,
bad person.
is Lauren a bad person? I think there could be moments where you look either way at that. Um, I think Avery is a lot more like mustache twirling, if whatever the equivalent for a woman who doesn't have a mustache would be. Lauren isn't necessarily as intentional about it, but I think you can absolutely say like, oh, she probably did this or this or this on purpose. Um, but there are just so many spoilers with talking about that, and it's just so like so far ahead in the story that it doesn't really feel like it's worth saying more about that at this moment. But I can sit here and say I'm glad they have Avery on the show, and I see all the interesting things you can do because you have Avery on the show. And I don't feel the same kinship around what Lauren brings. Um,
Okay. That's
but
fair.
what I thought was so interesting about the comment from at Olivia Cooks is this whole like I think everybody's been the Molly to somebody's James at some point.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
I wonder if we all do feel that way because I do.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to involve drugs or alcohol. It doesn't, it might be its own brand of looking like a certain thing, but the dynamic between Molly and James still may read to each of us as something we've experienced.
Yeah. I don't know if it's everyone. I mean, I sort of wonder, is it like James as a kid maybe had a similar type of relationship with, a parent or authority figure or something like that? Or are there some people who just always get to be the James?
Mm.
I do
Mm-hmm.
wonder about that.
Yeah. This just the dynamic they had, there was a lot about control and
Yeah.
there was a lot about sort of love bombing and uh, then chastising. And those are things that I saw, and they're things that I know personally. And then, I wonder how much others bring onto it their experiences, and they pull out of that dynamic stuff that resonates for them. Because there might have been other things to see that I was less noticing because I was so focused on those things.
I
So,
mean, do I think everyone has had some level of a toxic relationship in their life, whether it's friends, family, romantic interests? Yes. But like the level of toxicity and the type of it probably varies. And I certainly don't think everyone's experienced something this severe. So, but I agreed in general with her.
yeah. So we have one more comment. It's a short comment, but just something that happened recently that I thought would be interesting to look at once more. This is from Galena Druk, and this is part of the treatise on Noel, but it's more of like looking at the history of Noel and Felicity. And it was just one sentence, but we just saw this in a recent episode. So Galena says Felicity only asks Noel about the parrot from Loser Pet Store at the party because her mom puts the idea into her head. Wanted to unpack that a little bit more because I often wonder how much of this is Felicity clocking herself versus, like her mom just says, Noel is the turtle. You are the parent. Like, just in case you haven't been reading the subtext in your animation, like, I will tell you what this means. And so she puts all of that in Felicity's head, but I just wonder sometimes, like even the whole bit about them needing to where Felicity had a few days to do her final, and then they had to do Loser Pet Store, and they had all those things due at the same time, and Noel's doing this whole speech about how this is going to be an all-nighter they remember forever. What does she think? What does she think this is? Does she not see that Noel's feelings for her are coming to the surface? Or does she see it and she's trying to deny it? And her mom puts this idea in her head. Can she still say she's denying it?
I don't think she saw it. And this is why it was such an interesting reaction that I saw on her face when she asked him about it. She's like, was it a turtle? She's like, are you the turtle? And he's like, yes. And then he says, and Ruby's the parrot. And I felt like she had sort of this almost disappointed reaction. It was her like, yeah, sure, of course, it's Ruby. But it seemed disappointed. And I don't know, I think that comes in part from, like, yeah, she loves Ben, obsessed with Ben, got it. But at some level, she also loves Noel. And I think she also liked how much he liked her kind of early on, and how attracted to her he was and how much attention she got. And I'm going to be really interested to see, like, if she does get back with Noel at some point. And then, as she goes back and forth between these two guys, like, I feel like she does love them both. And the level of, like, romantic love kind of goes up and down. But she's always going to kind of want both of them to love her.
Mm-hmm.
So but she doesn't want to hurt Noel, right? So like I think with the whole Ruby thing and then getting married and everything, like she just wasn't thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But once her mom put it in her head and she started thinking about it, started bringing back those feelings, and then she asked him about it, and then they were, kind of dashed. But I don't know like as of this episode, does she think Noel has feelings for her? I'm not sure,
Well,
but I think
in
she
this
wants him to.
episode, she finds out that Noel slept with Avery.
Yeah.
And just based on everything you were just saying, I know you read disgust on her face.
Yeah.
So, like, but saying with everything you were just saying, how does that get processed in her brain? That the fact that they had sex.
I mean, I honestly think she is threatened in her relationship with Ben, but she very deeply doesn't like Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she also slept with Noel, it makes it even worse. It's both guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like just disgust and like losing respect, like a little bit of respect for Noel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because she has such strong emotions towards this woman, because now she's in all of her territory. She's
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
She's got Noel, she's got Ben, she's got money. Like she's everywhere.
Yeah.
She's in the self-defense class. She's piping in behind Elena. Like this was not an issue one episode ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Molly.
Yeah. Way to go, Molly. Well, Fish, you and I need to rate this episode. Did you want to jump in first?
Sure.
Okay.
Um, I mean, as much as I don't like Avery for all the reasons that we talked about, like I really like love hating her already.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm kind of glad she's in there. Love the different shots and the way that it was. The whole episode was constructed. I think they had great pacing. They had great, I like the 3 months later. Usually I don't like it when they do time jumps, but I think this made a lot of sense. It was funny. It was interesting. Um, the only thing that I didn't like was the Tracy Elena stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a bit because I'm confused. And it also kind of, I don't know. I think it's because I'm confused. It feels like anything that I can think of is either inconsistent with Tracy's character or, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
inconsistent with this character. I loved all the stuff with like Megan and Sean. Um, so pretty much, and teaching the kids, God, teaching the kids. Um, so this isn't a 10 for me, but I will give it a 9.5. This
Oh,
this
look at
is
you.
actually, I really enjoyed this episode.
Okay. I'm very glad to hear that. Cool. Well, I have rated this one in the unit of courtside seats.
Ooh, controversial.
Controversial, not as controversial as loaf mac and cheese, but controversial nonetheless. Um, I'm giving this one, I'm going to go 8.4 out of 10 courtside seats. So I think
Okay.
for both of us, this is actually quite a strong episode. Um, I think that, well, I think it's a very strong episode. I love the introduction of Avery. I love everything that's doing to the group. I love the exploration of the aftermath of a trauma and how we get an inside look with so many of the characters who experienced it and see completely different ways of coping and reacting. Um, I do think in this episode, and I love the creativity of some of the ways they showed all of it to us. The whole opening sequence is a 10 for me. If I just rated that.
Yeah.
My goodness, every choice they made with camera, every choice they made with Avery and the ambulance. So cool. I love that they showed us that quality of work in a show like this. I guess the reason mine isn't as high as yours is I'm very compelled by the A plot in this episode, but less compelled about like the stuff with Tracy and Elena and Meg and Sean didn't read as compelling to me as that. So I always was yearning for more of the A plot when they cut to those things, even though on paper, like the Tracy and Elena stuff is really interesting, but I just, it wasn't the highlight of this episode for me by a long shot. And the Megan and Sean stuff also wasn't. So the Megan and Sean stuff felt very much like a side, I don't know. Often they have side stories that have nothing to do with anything, but this, I don't know. It felt like it was taking time away from the stories I really wanted to track. But it's a nitpick because I think they did everything pretty well here. So yeah, I'm going 8.4 out of 10 courtside seats.
Nice. I mean, I'm hoping, I guess, that something actually comes out of the psyche valve for Megan. I think if nothing comes out of that, then yeah, I'd be disappointed.
No.
So I guess that's why I was more interested in that plot.
And that's the thing about Megan and Sean, in that I'm glad they sometimes give us these bigger things with them, like what we saw with Sean's health scare, or it wasn't a scare, Sean's health crisis that he had. Because they do often give us these isolated, almost bottle episode type of things for them. And actually, they're going to do that to us in the next episode. And I don't know that I think it should have been a bottle episode sort of feeling for them.
I mean, that definitely doesn't change. I mean, it's not going to change my rating now, but like, that's something that I should be aware of for the future, because when I heard the Megan and Sean plot, I heard we're getting into kids. We're getting into her future career. We're going to get something with this psyche Val. Like, we're getting into something where Sean and her have a different dynamic where they're not breaking up all the time. Like, he's finding different, like, so that was all very interesting to me. If they're just going to drop it all,
they're going to drop all of that.
That's really unfortunate because I enjoyed it.
They're going to continue to do the fight of the week thing for a bit longer. And sometimes it's stuff that you feel like it should be more than a fight of the week.
Well, yeah, they got into a lot of stuff for this.
Yeah, I think the thing they do next week should not have been a fight of the week. And we'll see what I have to say when we actually explore it in detail. But it feels like they had no business making it a one episode arc. It's not an arc if it's one episode, but like, but yeah, they give you stuff like this and you think it's going somewhere, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're going to go back to fight of the week. And when they do the bigger stuff, like Sean will spend a little bit more time exploring the Judaism component, and they do some interesting stuff with that, and it feels like more of a hook to get into with them. I'm glad they give them things like that sometimes, because these actors are very good and could do these things that sustain a show, for longer. And they don't often give them that work.
Well, now that I know, this will affect my rating for next time.
Okay. Well, but your 9.5 still stands?
Yeah, because that's what I felt at the end of it.
Yeah. I think it's a strong episode.
Unless I start going back and but I think that explains the disparity between our ratings, is because I definitely wouldn't have rated it as high had I known that going in. So, yeah.
I mean, I will say that like the Tracy Elena stuff is headed somewhere.
Yeah, but there was so little of it.
Yeah.
And it was just, as I said, I can't come up with something that doesn't.
It was more the like, we're going to give you just a little and give you the mystery with them.
Yeah, and
But
I
they are
don't
heading
mind.
somewhere with it.
Yeah, I don't mind like the mystery. It's that I can't come up with anything again that any reason. I cannot think of a single reason why Tracy would want her to find that condom that is consistent with his character.
Okay.
And I also don't think it's consistent for him to have just forgotten it was in there.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just my reaction in the moment.
Yeah.
And that bugged me.
Yeah, that's fair. It's totally fair. So I think we both had it still seems to me from our ratings that this is a pretty strong episode, that we're heading into a space in the show that we have an interest in, and that they've given us something we want to know more about. So we'll see where they go with this from here. So we would love to know what you all think. We have posed a lot of important questions here today.
I mean, let's admit, we would really like your feedback on the mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're thinking. But there may be
also
related things that you want to express opinions about as well. And if so, you can tell us what you think by writing to us at themelissafish@gmail.com. It's Melissa with one L, two S's, themelissafish@gmail.com. And you can also get into the conversation with everybody who's part of this Felicity community at our Instagram at Felicity Podcast. And then if you want to know whenever we drop a new episode of the podcast, you can do that by signing up for our newsletter. We drop a newsletter every time we drop a podcast, or soon after when we think it's going to be live. And all you've got to do is go to wherever your show notes are that you're listening to this, and you can check to see the link for the sign up. You sign up there, you're on the newsletter list. Bam, you've done it. While you're there, go ahead and rate and review us, because if whatever device you're using lets you do that, it just helps other people who are looking for Felicity content to find this Felicity content and become part of the conversation. So, Fish, next episode is called Blackout. What do you think Blackout is about?
I'm going to guess there's a blackout.
That feels like a good guess.
Yeah. I feel like candles will be involved and flashlights. And I feel like Avery's going to take advantage of the situation, and somehow she and Ben are going to end up together during the blackout. And that's going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I assume, as always, that the blackout was caused by Ruby and her baby who have come back, right?
Ruby's baby comes back, is like, go, 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 God, knocked. And she knocks into something that is connected to all the electrical equipment without electrocuting herself. She knocks out the power in the old building.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
theory.
That sounds plausible.
Yeah. There's almost nothing wrong with that theory.
I mean, I was thinking it was more of a citywide blackout, and maybe, she was some sort of electrically charged child. We're gonna bring in a bit of the Marvel universe here, and she it's her first time touching power, and she sucks all the power out of the entire city and just becomes a glowing baby, and then Ruby's baby glows for the rest of the season.
Okay, seems fair. Yeah. I see where you're going with this. I like it. So that's what we'll be looking forward to next time when we watch Blackout. Anything else you wanted to talk about for this one, Fish?
No, I'm interested. Avery hooked me.
All right. Well, that's good news. So until next time, Fish, don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
I'm a fish.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.